Warning, the following contains explicit language and subject matter that may not be suitable for younger listeners, church folk, and people who enjoy kale smoothies.
I don't have to go.
He didn't say anything about eating them.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to APodAmongstMen. I'm your host, Steve B., and this is Coffee Break Conversations for the 21st Century. I'm here with returning guests. We're going to do a continuation of one of our earliest episodes. I have on my right, Brian P.
Hey.
This is your third time back? Fourth?
Something like that. Several
Something around
times
those,
now.
yeah. You're an alumni.
Or regular guy.
I got Drew K. to my straight.
How you doing?
To my straight.
Yes, I am to your straight.
Yes, welcome back, sir. And Tony D. You guys would know him from episode 7, a Band of Brothers. Of Brothers, because the band was capitalized.
Yes.
So if you're looking for it, welcome.
Yeah, I think I'm
Feels good to be back.
I think at this point I'm your most recurring guest.
Feels good to be back, Steve.
You and Betty, I think.
Yeah.
Will's been on quite a bit too.
Touche.
People like Will.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
It's very charismatic.
He's a smart dude. I like Will. But so I had you guys on here last time. We were talking about being in bands, playing music, being on the road, playing shows, all that fun stuff.
Yes.
And I'll be honest, that was probably the most fun episode to record.
Mm-hmm.
So no knock on anybody else that's been on here. I love all my former guests, but just reminiscing about that shit was so much fun.
Yeah, it was a good time. I feel like we're probably going to end up telling some of the same stories that we forgot that we told on the last episode.
I'm worried about that.
Yeah, I should have listened to that episode prior to this, but...
Yeah, I was going to do that. I was going to go through and listen and make sure we didn't tell the stories, but then, the dog died, and then I just had to go on continuing.
Oh, God. Way to bring the mood down
right
at the start.
Yeah, I was going to listen to it, but then I had to go dig a grave,
Oh, you're a fucking dick.
I mean... It's not my fault.
Yeah,
he's a dick because he had to dig a grave.
Yeah, what are we going to do? Leave him on the front lawn?
No, I have to cut that.
Yeah, not now. But so one of the things I was thinking about was, what was the first thing after whatever you the last band Brian's currently in a band still. You're still making music too.
A little less this year.
Yeah, but it's that first couple weeks after a band breaks up or after you quit a band, do you guys remember that feeling where it's kind of like, well,
what do I do now?
Yeah, I have all this free time. I mean,
it's a scary feeling,
right?
Well, especially when you put all,
I mean, the most recently for me was last year when I left the band that Brian's currently in, and it wasn't like I part of the reason I left was because I didn't have a ton of free time. I mean, there were other factors and stuff. I wasn't having as much fun as, we had originally intended, which I told him, but...
Entirely my fault.
Yeah, completely your fault.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I get it. I wouldn't want to be in a band with a bunch of racist people either, so... I'm kidding.
It's not...
I'm kidding.
You gotta be easy with the racist jokes with the shaved heads.
Yeah,
right?
it's not
that's
funny
true.
because you're actually on camera now and people are, can see that he's very bald.
Yeah, that's going to send the wrong message. It was a joke, okay?
Yes. This went from podcast to clan meeting real quick.
Yeah, I've been listening to Tom Segura too much, and he always busts Bert Kreischer's balls like that. They had to do a podcast together, and it's called Two Bears, One Cave. But as soon as it starts, it always, you hear them, already talking, and then Tom Segura purposely says stuff, like, God, bro, they're people too, I don't know why, you have such a problem with black people. And he just says that, and you think, what the fuck were they talking about? Just to make him sound terrible.
Yep.
Oh, that's great.
So anyway, yeah, I didn't have a ton of free time the last band that I left, so it didn't really, honestly, it was a bit of a relief to be able to relax a little bit because I had work going on and rock climbing and boxing and personal life and stuff. There was just so much going on that it was a relief to have a minute to sit back and relax.
What about you, Tom?
I got a great band breakup story. So
here we go. Hit me.
This one is the band I was with Steve and Drew in Arms Like These.
Okay.
We were doing pretty good. We were selling out places.
We thought we were.
We thought we were, yeah. Then it all fell apart, right? It hit me so hard in that moment when it all just stopped, and I was like, oh man, now what? That I dropped everything I had and went on tour with the most Christian band.
Yeah, I remember.
I was like, I need to tour, and I went
Yeah.
on this crazy Christian tour.
Yeah.
That was unlike any tour
Uh-huh.
that I've ever been on.
What tour was that?
It was with a band called I Am Alpha and Omega. There was this band called For Today on it, but it was a different experience. But I so badly, because like In Arms Like These was on the up and up, and we had potential to get signed, so we thought, and we invested a lot in there. And then the second that dropped, and I'm like 19 or something like that, I'm like, I need to keep doing this. Like, what am I
Yeah.
gonna do now? I have all this time. And then this Christian band, I'm like, I'm not Christian, but let's do it. And
It's in right now. That was like
it was so in
the
right then.
Christian
Yeah,
hardcore
100%.
thing was huge,
especially
and
in Flemington.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All those Flemmies, they see too much corn and too
Bunch
many
of-
open fields.
Bunch of
and-
goddamn farm people.
But then they all
Yeah.
went on tour, and like suddenly they weren't Christian bands anymore.
Yeah.
They were just hardcore, but like they found themselves.
that happens to so many bands.
Yeah.
It's very odd.
Yeah. They
Yeah.
start
Like
off as
tooth
like
and nail bands, you know. And,
Yeah.
Yes,
Christian metal, and the next thing you know, like, we're just a metal
just a
band
metal
now.
band.
Yeah.
Yeah. We mentioned God once on the album, but that's
Yeah.
about as far as it goes.
No, so the Christian band that I decided to tour with was so hardcore that in between every set, every night, they would go on a tangent where they would cry and talk
Oh,
and
wow.
convert
Oh, geez.
During the set.
during the middle of the set.
Convert. What do you mean convert?
Like,
try to convert the crowd.
The
Convert the
crowd
crowd.
to
Oh.
be like.
I thought
Are they
you
having
were
like
implying.
baptisms on stage?
I thought you were implying that they convert to a different religion themselves. Like
No,
all of a sudden,
no.
for this half of the set, we're Jewish. You know?
It would get so.
It's gonna get a little weird around the third or fourth song, but
It's weird. They go from a bunch of Christian music to Hava Nagila in the middle, and then back to Christian.
It was different.
Those
Yeah.
guys were. I mean, I remember playing a couple shows with them.
Yeah.
They were all super nice, like
Definitely.
dudes.
Yeah,
that's
they
how,
definitely-
that's how I got into it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they
I would
definitely
hope
are.
they'd be
but-
nice, right? Like you
Yeah.
think, you know, if someone's religious.
Yeah.
And I was touring like
know, I would-
the middle of this country, the deep south, the Bible Belt, the whole nine, and then it would get like they'd be standing on the drum sets, preaching, crying, like
Carrying snakes, you
then,
know.
then there'd be
Amen.
like drug dealers at the show, and the drug dealers would be like, "Now that I've seen this show, I'm going to flush all my drugs down the toilet," and
Oh, God.
it was
my
crazy.
God, fucking white people.
was
Those guys are...
dramatic, dramatic.
I would just like to
Jesus.
clarify that those dealers are dead now because they owed somebody a
Yeah.
lot of money after
Yeah.
Why
that.
did you do that, Karen? That was all the money we had. Oh my God! Wait, you gonna do this?
I like how you have the Goodfellas
Right?
poster up there. I like this. One dog goes one way, the other guy goes the other, and this guy says, "What do you want from me?"
Nobody gets that. Nobody gets it.
I wouldn't have gotten that.
You're the first person to actually get that.
Amen, brother.
Everybody
That's
looks
why
at
I'm here.
Vigo.
I honestly thought you were talking about Ralphie. I was like, well, I mean, when he got older, it kind of looked like he belonged in Goodfellas, but not there.
You mean Bruce Jenner over there?
Yeah.
It's like Wheaties era Bruce Jenner.
Yeah, I don't think a podcast goes by now without mentioning this picture of Ralphie.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Most people will just kind of look at it like, and then
There's the thing.
yeah.
I think that was Steve when he had hair.
I'm sure a lot of people are just curious. It's like, what is that and why does it exist?
Yeah.
You know? I think it was like an old newspaper clipping or something. And my mom had it blown up and framed and
Wow.
put it in our basement, like in our old house.
Uh-huh.
We had like a bar and everything, so she was going to make like a whole little section for my dad. So she had like Yankee stuff, and then there's this picture of him running as if he's some kind of fucking Jack LaLanne disciple or something.
It's pretty great.
But what about you, Brian? What's the feeling you get when the band ends?
It's tough. It depends on the band. I remember like the first like serious band I was in high school. It was a band called Even the Odds, and I remember when we broke up. I was so lost. I did not know what I was doing. I had graduated high school before all those guys, so I took a year off. Like I didn't go to college right away, and like I was ready to go for it. I was ready to get the band on the road, and when the band kind of just crumbled into itself, I was so lost, didn't know what to do. So yeah, it was a scary feeling, you know. But I just found another band and found a way to get on the road.
See, for me, like I always had like a full-time job for as long as I've been in
Yeah.
bands. Like when In Arms first started, I had just started as an electrician.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, well, I got this day job, and hopefully the band will get signed, and I can quit this bullshit. You know?
You kind of had something to fall back on.
Exactly. So I
Yeah.
was never as invested, I think, as everybody else. Like
Yeah.
I was always like, okay, like if it ends, I'm not gonna die, but it'll still suck.
Yeah, I don't know why I had that mindset. I didn't think of anything else. I was like, nah, I'm gonna be a rock star. This is what's gonna happen. You know?
Yeah, no, this is the path.
Which
I
is
see it.
probably why the two of you made it further than either of us, because him and I were never like 100% all
Right.
in.
Well, when you
It was
have
like,
no other plans, it's like,
Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
I gotta find the next thing then. And
Yeah.
That's like what they tell stand-up comedians is like if you're still working a day job trying to be a stand-up, you're
It
not
ain't
going to
gonna
be able to
happen.
do it. You really
Yeah.
need to jump in with both feet.
Yep.
Yeah, so you guys were like all in.
Yeah.
It's
And
definitely
it-
the secret.
And in many
Yeah.
ways, yeah, I think
Yeah.
that's still true.
100%.
You know, like with anything you're doing, you know, you can't half-ass it. You gotta
Yeah.
go all in.
Get a
you know?
whole asset.
I actually remember when we were in arms, hearing like kind of through the grapevine of somebody who had said like, we're not going to make it because we're not driven enough. Certainly not all of us, but now like looking back at it, like for me and you, like
Makes sense.
that
Who said
checks out. Glitta,
Yeah.
yeah, it checks out.
I mean, it was right.
Yeah,
I'll leave it at that.
yeah.
I mean, yeah, definitely. I mean, some of the guys never did anything ever again. So.
Yeah, yeah.
That's true.
most of us.
Vito didn't
Yeah.
Yeah,
play
Vito and
guitar,
Darren never played anything
Yeah,
again.
Darren.
Well,
Well,
Darren
one
did a
thing,
little bit
Darren
afterwards.
And they never
Yeah.
played again.
Yeah.
It's very ominous, you
yeah,
guys.
never played again.
Just for the record, they're not dead. They still exist.
Yeah.
I know that kind of sounds a little weird.
I don't know. Darren might be. I tried to text him a couple times here and there over the years.
Yeah, you know, he gets both feet into whatever he's doing.
Yeah,
so
yeah. He is off the map now.
yeah.
But I'm still friends with his girlfriend on Instagram, Facebook, and stuff like that. So he is still alive. I have seen pictures.
Same.
Unless, like, you know, she's just got his body like
In the basement
I'm not,
somewhere.
digging, I'm not digging another grave. Okay?
weekend at Bernie's. Like, she's just propping him up for some photos here and there.
You guys want to come to my house for a weekend at Daddy's? I mean, I think that's true though. It's when you literally have nothing else to fall back on, you have no choice but to go hard, and you're hungry. You know, you
Yeah.
need this, and everything is riding on it. So if you don't push and push and push,
Yeah.
you're fucked basically. So that totally makes sense. You know, it does suck though because, like, especially with a band where you're making original music, like,
Yeah.
you're really putting yourself into it, even if
Definitely.
you're,
Yeah.
you know, even if you have something to fall back on. Like, it still kind of hurts when it's like, yeah, well, we couldn't make it work.
Yeah.
It's like a breakup
Yeah.
for a relationship,
Yeah.
literally.
Yeah, it hurts too when like you see the potential in something and you know deep down like how great it could be if only certain things could fall into place, if only every member could be on the same page, you know, if everybody had the same mindset and, you know, was just as driven, you know, and it's just like, oh God, you feel like you're so close, you know?
Yeah.
Well, that was always
Very disappointing.
I think an issue that we had, where all of us weren't on the same page musically.
It's a
or-
common tale.
Yeah.
I mean,
like
it's hard to get the same group of guys all thinking the same
Five
way.
people
Even
thinking the
I mean,
exact same
successful
way,
bands
yeah.
have this problem all the time. It's why bands break up. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard to have a bunch of guys with the same vision. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, how many bands out there, especially successful bands, all have the same members?
Yeah, well, that's
You
the
know?
thing too.
Yeah.
Everybody comes from different influences, different backgrounds, so that it's impossible for everybody to have the same vision. And it's just about how well you can work together and operate, and keep the ship running.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the hardest part,
There's a lot of give and take, you know?
especially when you're writing music. Unless you're like the Eagles and it's like, all right, whatever Don and
Yeah.
with Don Henley and Glenn,
Glenn
Don and
Fry.
Glenn, whatever they write, we'll just
Yeah.
we'll play it. I'll add a little solo here, and that'll be
Well,
that.
it's easier too, I think, when a band has like established songwriters within the band, and everybody kind of just we're all going to get on board with what these guys bring to the table.
Yeah.
It's when everybody wants to add their opinion to a
Yeah.
song, or everybody wants to be involved in the
Yeah.
songwriting process. Man.
It took us every time. It took us like 2 months to write a song
2
because
months. That is very short estimate.
okay.
You're being very kind.
yeah.
I think
so-
we have songs that we started working on, like when Tony joined the band, that we still hadn't finalized.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
At least 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the problem is like I would usually I was the I would say core songwriter
Yes, definitely.
like as far as the music, and I would bring like a somewhat finished product with the intention of you guys kind of tearing it apart a little bit, but it just got like so, specifically with Darren, like it got so torn apart so many times, like, all right, we did this, we took this out, we put this in. It's done. Like, it's great. And then a week later, like, everyone comes back in and, like, somebody's like, no, I don't like this. No, I was listening to this album. We got to try adding this stuff in now.
You know what I think it is, too? Honestly? I think sometimes we come back in and we don't remember what we said the week before. I don't like this, I think.
I don't remember this part. I think we should just change it.
Yeah.
We should do something like this. That's exactly what you did last time. I was testing you, you know?
Or if you're like me, that part's too hard to play. Let's just change it. I don't feel like practicing it. So
I've definitely done that a few times.
I've heard that from you, and I've heard that from you.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And I'm the asshole that
is
just
this
gonna...
song utilize the A string? Because I don't have that on my guitar right now.
Oh my God, you are the worst.
Like, do we have to play it like this? Can we
Like-
just change the key?
Like a good month and a half in a professional cover band with 5 strings on your guitar.
You don't give me enough credit. The fact that I was able to figure out the songs with the strings that I had on the spot, pretty good, pretty impressive.
This is true.
That's a nightmare.
Yeah.
It was a nightmare.
Yeah.
Because we'd sit there and
And
watch
I
him.
had to change the strings.
Dude,
he never got around to it.
It was-
I was
it was-
finally like, just give me the fucking thing. I will put the string on.
It was my time to go. I should not have been playing in any band at that time.
Yeah. Yeah. And oddly enough, you were the last one out of the 3 of us to leave.
Yeah, well, because I was making money for the first time ever in a band, so I
Yeah.
was like, oh,
Yeah, it's hard to give that up.
yeah.
Yeah.
I noticed a big drop off like when I
yeah.
quit that band because we were doing good and I wasn't even playing the Thursday night shows either.
Yeah,
Like,
like
we had a fill in for me. I was paying my rent and stuff for my apartment without touching my
Like,
paychecks
you're
from
looking
work.
at an extra $500 a week or so.
It was
on top of our
nice.
full-time jobs. You know, bills are
Yeah.
fucking getting paid.
So that hurt
good.
a little bit. I was planning a trip to Australia and shit, and then all of a sudden, like, oh yeah, now I don't have that extra money.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a little rough. But that, I mean, I think I really had to go at that point in that band.
Yeah.
It was just, it was so much drama.
But there was a legitimate fight at that point. Like,
Well, no, I mean, it was almost a fight,
yes, I really shouldn't have stopped you.
but it is what it is.
Yeah.
It all worked out.
I wonder if they're going to see this.
I doubt it.
Well, see, that's the problem too. If like after a band breaks up and there's still a little bad blood between you and like other members,
Uh-huh.
like that's awkward. Like I know, like
Well, when do you run into these people though? Like you don't.
well, here's an example. Like I know that I mean, you know, shout out to Brent from Eight Graves. Like he's been in here.
Yeah.
I love Brent, and I don't want to put his business out there, but I know like when Love Automatic broke up, like there was some bad blood there.
Yeah.
So now,
Yep.
you know, Mitch went off and he's doing his thing, and I know that there like that sucks because especially when you hear the song on the radio, it's like fuck that guy. Like I would be like I don't know. I'm sure he's much more. What's the word I'm looking for? Like he's much cooler about it than I am, than I would be.
Yeah.
So shout out to him for being like a grown up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's good. I mean, honestly, like not many people from our scene, made it to that level. So I say good for him, man.
Yeah.
He never stopped.
He never. Every band that broke up, he never
Yeah.
stopped. He's the perfect example of what we were saying
Yeah,
before.
he never did anything else.
Driven.
He just kept
Yeah.
doing it and doing it
Yeah.
and doing it.
No fallback
So,
plan.
On
Shout
top
out
of
to
being-
Mitch from Lovely the Band.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you find them on the Instagram.
Yeah.
But like
Find them on
aside
the
from
radio.
him being just like talented and a good songwriter, he never gave up. So
Yeah.
everybody else kind of did,
I will say this, like, and just to be totally honest, when I first met Mitch, I didn't like him at all. But then he moved to LA and then came back, and I don't know, like he seemed like a different person. He was so nice, and he seemed much more genuine, and authentic. I was like, you know what? I'm cool. Like you're all right now.
Well, I think what probably happened is that, around here he was told that he's the shit. Like he thought he was like, high society and everything when it came to music.
Out there,
and
it's
then,
like a dime a
And then
dozen.
he actually made it and dealt with some people who were infinitely more talented than him, not to discredit his talent, but there's some songwriters out there that are fucking incredible compared to people that we know.
Compared to everyone else.
Yeah.
Jonas
Yeah.
Brothers.
So,
just to name 3.
T Swift,
so I think that probably humbled
Engelbert
him.
Humperdinck. Are we not still named? I'm sorry.
So I think that probably
Katy Perry.
Oh my god!
Kelly Clarkson.
I'm done. I quit.
You waited too long, man. You got to plow through that shit. You got to plow through that, brother.
Title of your sex tape.
Remember that game we used to play? It was like something.
That's a good segue.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
What game?
That should be the title of your sex tape. Remember that game?
Anyway, so moving on to my sex tape. No.
It's coming out.
Do you guys remember the very, very first show you ever played?
Definitely.
Did we talk about this in the last one?
I don't remember.
Fair.
Probably as much as I remember the
If
first
we
show.
did, we're going to tell the stories better this time.
Yeah, that was
Yes.
over a year ago.
Boom.
So
Yes.
we
Yeah.
probably have
Out
a
with
whole
the
new
old,
audience
in
at
with
this
the
point.
new.
Yes.
Yeah. So my first show.
No, you're not first. Drew's first.
Okay.
I'm kidding.
My first show, I was a freshman in high school. I booked the show before we even had like a set together at all. I was like so anxious to play a show. It was at the Frenchtown roller rink.
Wow.
Yep. Yeah, it was good. And our set consisted mostly of covers of like pop punk songs. Our band name was called Symphony of Destruction.
Nice.
So naturally, we covered "Simple Plan," "Newfound Glory." We had like a 9-minute instrumental that like sounded like loosely like Metallica. We were just. it's
God.
What?
It's like a first band kind of thing.
Yeah,
you know?
I get it. Yeah.
It
It,
was
doesn't
good.
have to be good.
I got my first
Although
girlfriend
it
that
should.
night.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun.
You got your first girlfriend that night.
I did,
Good-
and
good
that
on you.
consisted of, hey, like I don't think we'd ever talked before then, but like I walked up to her and said, hey, do you want to be my girlfriend?
Just like that.
And she said yes, and we kissed, and boom.
And
We
then
dated
you were
for,
like, "What's your name?"
Dated for like 3 weeks. It was awesome.
How'd that end?
Changed my life.
Sheila Pimples.
You see me?
What about you, Tom?
My first show, Battle of the Bands, high school, junior year.
Hang on, I'm sorry if I keep coughing because I just got over the flu and.
I just
Oh,
got over the
great.
coronavirus.
Yeah.
Ah,
Don't worry, it's only mildly contagious.
yeah.
Jesus
go.
Christ, dude.
So pretty simple, the usual for a young musician.
What was the name of the band?
the band's name? Was Another Hit and Run.
Another hit and run.
Yeah.
It's not just one, another.
God,
love
another hit and
What
run.
kind of music was that?
It was like,
What was in the repertoire for another
oh
hit and run?
man, it was
Mostly
if-
first album stuff. Just
yeah. It's like you said, we were like a Blink-182 cover band that had screamo music in it.
Oh.
So it was
Somebody-
different. Like
So
Story of the Year
Brian's-
was big then.
So Brian's dream come true.
Yep.
yeah, it was good times. We might have won it, probably, because there wasn't much competition back then. And yeah, it was
Yeah,
cool.
that checks out.
Yeah.
What about you, Drewby?
Are we counting high school talent shows? Is that
Counting everything. First time performing
Okay.
on stage.
Yeah, we
Okay.
have to count it.
okay? He's like, that's all I got. Has to count. Okay, so my first one then would be high school talent show. I actually did 2 performances. One with our band, which we did 3 songs. I want to say 2 originals and 1 cover.
We did the same.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. And like it went pretty well for for a 15-year-old kid's first show.
Who
And
judges the high school battle of bands?
I don't
Nobody
know.
who likes
right?
that kind of
No
music
idea.
can tell you that.
Yeah, definitely not.
Like, where's the panel sit?
The other thing that I was in was with my buddy Chris, where we did a Metallica medley of just like some of their instrumental stuff, of just him. He had a classical acoustic guitar, like a nylon string, and I had an electric guitar. So he played like all the like intricate finger picking stuff, and I did the solos that went over them. And we actually won 3rd place on that.
Not bad.
Out of 3 bands.
No, there were actually
They
there
won
was,
3rd place out of two bands.
Yeah. No, there was
You're not quite good enough to be second place. So we bumped you down to 3rd, but
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
you still placed.
So
Moral of the
so
story.
actually an interesting story about that was the people that won 1st place were people
Communist?
that had not met each other at all before the rehearsal. We had the show was on Friday night, and we had a rehearsal on like Wednesday.
And this was
to
out of high
run-
school.
Yes, to run through everything, and it ended up being my drummer, my bass player at the time, who was a classically trained pianist, and these couple girls who just were like really good singers, and they all just started. My bass player sat down at the piano and started playing a new, at the time, Alicia Keys song. I Keep on Falling in Love. That one. And he started playing it, and one of the girls started singing, the other 3 girls started doing backup, and then my drummer sat down and just started playing along with them, and like fucking nailed it.
And they won.
No
This is
rehearsal.
like a movie.
Yeah, no rehearsal, first time, and they won the fucking talent show.
What happened to the band?
We broke up, obviously.
Bummer, man.
You might have heard them. They're called the On-Etters. My first show was when we played the Sober Club in Easton,
That
PA.
definitely sounds like a made-up name.
No,
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 it's
it was
real.
an
That's a
actual,
very
it was
real
a real
place.
thing.
It's
Yeah.
very real.
that is
Yeah.
Still
as
there?
real as it gets.
Yeah.
No, but that was in arms.
It was like a rehab center, like where they held AA stuff, and
Yeah, it
then
was all
on,
people
on
that
off
are-
nights they would have shows there.
But I was 21. Like, you guys all started young, like in high school.
Yeah,
I didn't even get a bass till I was 20.
yeah. Your first one was mine.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
I was like, here.
Wow.
but my first, I had the bass for like, I don't know what, 3-4 months.
Yeah, when you met him, he'd probably only been playing for like less than a year.
No, just over a year.
Yeah, I think you guys told me that, but your stage presence.
Yes.
Mm.
Yeah, but
Rock
he picked it
solid.
up. He picked it up real quick. The way that I knew he was.
He looked like a natural.
Yeah, the way that I knew he was going to be good is the first time I ever handed him my bass, he just like started messing around, and I showed him Rose of Sharon by Killswitch Engage,
Yes.
which was a super easy bass line, but he just started playing along with the song. And I was like, all right, he's going to be fine at this.
This is natural.
Yeah. No, but honestly, I'll tell you exactly what it is. At that time when you gave that to me, that was all I wanted to do.
Yeah.
That was the
So
only-
you took that home and like
Yeah.
That's all I did.
really
I would
started
go home.
learning.
You taught me how to read the tabs,
Uh-huh.
and I would just look up like My Chemical Romance songs, like easy stuff that I
Yep.
could figure out. But just to get that muscle memory, and
He got
you know,
that bass. He's like, this is my moment.
I used to bring it everywhere. I was such an asshole with instruments. Like I would bring like a guitar or something everywhere I went, and I wasn't.
Just so people know you played.
Yeah. Everywhere. Like that guitar right behind Drew right there.
Uh-huh.
That's Sheila. I used to bring that thing everywhere for no reason. And looking back, I'm so embarrassed of my behavior. Like I was that guy.
Like
You
you
were
brought
that
it places
guy.
you didn't need to have it. You,
Oh,
there was-
100%.
There was logical places you could have put it before going to that
100%.
destination.
But you know what? Like at the time, like the people that you're hanging out with are like also young and dumb and think it's cool enough that like
that they're not gonna instantly like gang up on you and beat you up for
They're
having
like,
it.
dude, why do
know?
you have that? Like the girls are like, oh my god, he plays guitar.
And then it's like, kinda.
yeah, a little bit.
They see me play. It's funny because once I finally got over that,
Uh-huh.
at least mostly,
Yeah.
like then I actually got better at playing guitar. I was able to play and sing at the same time instead of just like playing something that vaguely resembles a song they know.
Yeah. See, I never did that. Well, not often. I did from time to time.
That was
but
the worst.
yeah. But also because I can't sing, and I think to really make that move work, you got to be able to play a song and sing it and have people be like, oh my god, like he can play and sing, and like I know this song and we can all sing along and everything. So like because I couldn't sing, it was just like pointless for me to just have a guitar and strum a few chords and shit.
That's so scary the first time you sing in front of people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's definitely a weird feeling.
To me, that's the scariest thing.
Well, I think that's and
Yep.
you can try and back me up or maybe not. I think part of being a singer is the confidence that you have to just be like, you know what? I don't care if I'm bad right now. I'm going to get better, and I fucking got this. So
Yep,
fuck
definitely. But going back to my first talent show thing, the thing is my nerves were so intense. I'm like, can I do this? Because I was a guitar player, singer at that point, not just a front man. And I'm like, but the second that old school curtain went up,
it. Yeah.
my adrenaline, it was the adrenaline. I
Just
was
carried
just like,
you through.
I went crazy. That's when I knew. I was like, this is it. This is what
Yeah.
I want to do.
That's what it is too. When you get up on stage, you either like clam up or the adrenaline takes over.
Yeah, no, that's like not with a lot of things, but with having a guitar on me on stage, I felt like a fucking god. I am a golden god.
Oh god.
It's from a movie.
I know, it's from Almost Famous. Billy Crudup.
You're
said it.
telling us it's from a movie,
Yeah,
Drew.
Yeah.
really. It's from a movie, really. Go
Really?
on.
Yeah.
But no, I mean that is 100% the same thing with me. Like it's scary at first, you get that shaky leg, you know.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
But then you just like, the adrenaline comes. It's you either fall back or you just punch straight through.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, just go right through because this is what I wanted to do, and now I'm here doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really cool too when you get to do that on like at a place where you used to go see shows and now you're the one on stage.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Oh man, that's such a good feeling.
Well, it helped at my first show specifically because like you said, like they had the curtain open and everything, and like they had like colored lights and stuff, so that helped. But when the curtain opened, the front row was all people that we knew. Like it was my drummer's girlfriend and her friends and stuff, and like everybody in the front row was somebody that we knew. So they like when the curtains opened and they saw us under the lights and everything, they freaked the fuck out and were like, "Oh my god!" Like it looked so cool to them to have their friends be on the stage under the lights and everything. So they freaked out. So I was like, "This is fucking awesome."
I was just going down
cocaine.
memory lane today. Like I had to go to Bound Brook, and I went down past where Hamilton Street used to be. And I remember like the first time playing a show there. Like I used to go see you before I was in a band with you.
Yeah.
Like when you were in other bands, play there, and I was like, man. Like that feeling of being up there and it's like, it's not as cool as it looks from down there. But
no.
We used to make fun of Hamilton Street relentlessly, but really, it was the only place to go.
Yeah.
It was.
You know, we used to be like, because
we
the
really,
sound was horrible, and like it was such a like a dive venue.
We didn't really
but,
have like a good scene here.
Yeah.
But as a young kid, when you played Hamilton Street, you felt like, yeah, man,
Yeah.
I'm doing it, I'm making it.
that was our version of like
yeah.
the Roxy or something.
Yeah,
you know, or the-
definitely.
it was
the
a
Troubadour.
Cool, it was a cool spot, man. It really was.
It was
the 3 rooms. Like I in hindsight, man,
It was cool for us because that was what we knew. Like that was our
Yeah.
scene. You know,
And the smaller, like, sign bands were coming through and playing
Yeah.
there, drive-through records bands.
I saw the Ataris there. You know, like
who?
the Ataris.
Really?
I saw them play Hamilton Street. Yep.
I remember. Wasn't Hamilton Street owned by the same people that owned Bloomfield Ave Cafe?
For a period of time, they switched owners so often. But yeah, it was Bloomfield. I thought was way worse than Hamilton Street. But
I did always pull a dick move going in there on any night that I wasn't playing because I knew the owner from being in there all the time. Like any show that I was going to see.
you just assumed you were playing, or
No, I walked in and like, you know, it's not the owner running the show. It's they rent it out to other people for the night and everything.
Yep.
So when I walked in and whoever was at the table was like, "Oh, who are you here to see?" I was like, "I'm here to see Brian." And they were like, "Oh, okay." And then I just walked in and watched the show just because I knew the owner. Like you dropped the owner's name and they're like, "Oh, okay." Like he knows the owner. He's not here for the show.
the first time I played Hamilton Street, that was back in the days when they used to do like pay to play, and you could like buy a whole batch of tickets for whatever cost, and they're like, "Oh yeah, but you sell them and you make some money. You know, it's really it's good for us, it's good for you, right?"
Yeah.
But they don't promote the show. It's like
By the way, you want to try selling these knives door to door?
yeah, it's like it's like a
They
joke
can
of
cut
a
cans.
show. Yeah, but we did that for our first little Hamilton Street show. That was another Symphony of Destruction concert. It was
I had one.
we tore the place down.
I had one that I ran with Colin, and I put together a pretty good lineup. You were on there. That's actually like how I met you, like for real. The first time was the show that I ran. That
And you had a camera in my face.
Did I? No, I didn't have a camera.
I thought you said you were filming with Colin.
Colin was.
I'll never forget
Colin
that
would have
show
been
because
filming. I wasn't.
remember we played really tight that night, and Colin had like camera people.
Oh, that was
filming.
Tim. That was Tim.
Oh, that was Tim.
Oh,
Tim
Timmy D.
Disbrow,
Shout out
yeah.
to Tim D.
I thought you told me that was you on a camera.
No, I'm not a camera person.
Okay. Well, I know you're not a camera person, Drew. I know you, but I thought you were for that night.
No, not at all.
I've seen your selfies. You're definitely not a camera person.
No,
Yeah,
no,
you don't
I'm
have the
worst.
frame. You'd fall right apart over that camera.
You don't have that X factor, buddy.
No, but I had like a good local lineup, like all the bands that we played with all the time, of Fate and Chance, and at the time it was Vampire for Hire.
Can I
before Love
can I
Automatic.
just say of Fate and Chance? I had them on Spotify the other day. They were amazing. They still
they
hold
really
up.
were,
They
yeah.
still hold up.
For
in my,
like
in my
how
opinion.
old they were.
They were
They
underrated.
were incredible and totally underrated within our scene.
Yeah,
They were
absolutely.
actually more popular when they used to be called Partial Credit before that.
Okay.
And they were like more popular back then. They had more of like a punk rock sound, and then they kind of morphed into
Coheed and Cambria
progressive.
style.
yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And
I remember they were the first local band I ever saw where like it had 3-part harmonies, and I'm like, oh my god, everyone could sing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like,
they-
yeah. Not the first, the only.
Yeah, the
They're
only-
the
the
only
first,
local
yeah,
band
I'm like,
around here
what?
where like you actually had good harmonies and everything. We were like, God damn.
Yeah, they were incredible. Those songs, I'm telling you, they hold up in my opinion.
Yeah.
They hold up. They were good.
Yeah, I'll still throw one or two songs on every once in a while. Like I'll pass them on my iTunes and be like, You know what? Yes.
I choose yes.
But yeah, I had you guys. Union City Blue was on there, which
They were so good back in the day. Oh my god.
You mean before I joined?
Yeah, you ruined that band.
Yeah, I really did.
No, when Justin was in that band, though,
Yeah.
they were so good. And Colin, but oddly enough.
Yeah. Oh, Colin was in it too? I'm kidding.
I was about to come across this table at you. I remember we were the day that Pete, our original singer, quit In Arms Like These. We were supposed to play a show. It was a Halloween show, and it was a show that Colin had said he was running it. So of course Union City Blue was headlining. So now we're like, all right, well, we don't have a singer, so I guess we're not playing, but I'm just going to go anyway and hang out. So I went to see the show, and that was the night Colin, like, in the middle of a song, was trying to do a little Pete Wentz, like, Fall Out Boy move. So he's trying to, like, spin around with the guitar. And as he's spinning, he must have gotten dizzy or lost his footing and fell into the drum set and knocked the whole drum set over in the middle of the show. Man, that was one of my favorite memories.
That's so great.
It was so great.
It's so funny to think that Colin was so heavily involved in the scene back then. Union City Blue played a lot of shows.
Yeah,
they
really
were
did.
around for years, and like they put out albums, you know, before like any other local band was doing it. The singer was like 12.
Yeah.
And they're putting out freaking like good sounding records, you know, and now Colin just has nothing to do with music.
No.
I find it so funny.
Yeah. But anyway, getting back to that show specifically, the headlining band was Crash Romeo, who was the only signed band at the time.
Well, didn't they just get signed to Trustkill at that time?
Maybe. No, I think they had been for a little bit. Like, their first album was out. So they were, supposed to be, like, the well-known headlining band and everything. And I had communicated with them and everything of, like, what is it going to take for you guys to play a show and this and that. And their bassist was more of the businessman of the band. He handled
Steve.
Little Steve.
Oh, Little Steve. Yeah, Big Steve played guitar.
Yeah, and he handled, like, I guess most of the finances and money and everything like that. And he came back to me with the message of like, oh, we do a $400 guarantee for the night and this and that and blah blah blah. And I was like, I probably can't do that. But he was like, all right, fine. Like, we'll play it. And we'll work out the numbers at the end, whatever. I was like, okay. And I was actually, I feel relatively generous. Like, I gave, for a $7, I think like maybe a $7 ticket for everybody to get in, I gave $2 to the band for every person that came through. And
Can I just say on record, I don't remember getting paid that night, but I'm just gonna... I'll be waiting for my $6 commission.
That means that nobody at all said I'm here to see even the odds.
I find that hard
which it
to
doesn't
believe.
matter because you guys were like 40 minutes late. Your drummer basically did not make the show.
Need some more
That
Sprite,
sounds
Tom?
about right.
All right.
But I lost my train of thought. No, I was paying all the bands, like, I felt like decent for like a local show or whatever. It's not like we made a ton of money there.
Yeah, nobody made
But
money.
they specifically, he was like, oh, $400 guarantee, and like we'll work it out at the end and everything, this and that. They had 2 people come in for them. Like, because
For
you
Crash
ask
Romeo?
Yes, because you ask at the door, like, who are you here to see?
Oh.
And they had
They
legit.
live 5 minutes away from there.
Yeah, they legit had 2 people. They were the only signed band, and they're from right up the road. 2 people.
To be fair,
Everybody
they
else-
also played a ton of shows, and you can oversaturate yourself within your own like hometown market
Yeah, I guess.
very quickly
Yeah.
and easily. So I'm pretty sure at that time,
Yeah, they had already been playing for a long time.
yeah, you know,
But at the same time, you would think like a lot of friends coming through, like, friends of all the bands, but they would be like, oh, I'm mainly here to see Crash Romeo, but like not at all. Fucking Moraine brought in like an absurd amount of people.
they were a
Yeah.
good band,
I
dude.
remember
Yeah,
that,
they were a good
yeah.
band.
Yeah, they brought in the most people by far. They brought in like
They did. It
fucking
was like a
60
party.
60
What does that
something people.
name even mean?
I don't know.
I never knew.
What does
Moraine.
arms
It's not
like
even a
these
word.
mean?
Yeah, but at least those are English words. Like,
I don't
people get it. Like,
I don't know.
Moraine.
It's
like,
Latin for moron. Did you have Tokyo Rose play that show? Is that the show I'm thinking of?
No,
Okay,
no.
that was a good band.
That's the real
Sidebar.
band?
Tokyo Rose. Yeah,
That
they
was
were-
Glitta's first band before Census
That's
Failed.
right. He
He was the drummer.
yes.
What?
Yeah, he was originally a drummer
Okay.
before he joined census failed.
On this guy.
Yeah, Tokyo Rose was a pretty
I've
good
never even heard that name. That sounds
They
like
were
a
pretty popular
restaurant.
around here, too.
So I still have to finish this story. So they brought in no people.
Jesus Christ, the story's still going, man.
Well, you keep interrupting me, you douche nozzle.
Oh, God.
You ever notice Drew tells a lot of stories, never fucking...
Yeah, never really finishes them.
Come on. The building's on fire, lady.
This is
The
why I
elevator
never,
is broken.
The elevator's broken.
this is why I
building's on
never finish
fire.
stories.
Run for your lives.
Just for the listeners, that was me and Brian making fun of Drew. We played a show and we were at a hotel
It's
that
in
night.
It's
in the first one, but just
first one.
go listen to the first one. You'll hear it.
Here's the story.
Yeah.
That he didn't speak like that, but that's
It's
just
classic Drew.
Yeah, I don't know
Classic Drew.
why you had me talk like
because
that.
it's so much funnier.
Out of my way, lady.
Yeah, move it or lose it. With his fucking Ninja Turtles pants on and a goddamn Boston Red Sox hat and no shirt.
I was going to say, I'm pretty sure he wasn't wearing a shirt.
He was not wearing a shirt. Still managed to grab your backpack and your guitar, though.
Well, that was on purpose.
my life.
I specifically
Some
said
people thought he was cool because he played guitar.
Yeah.
I specifically said everybody grab the shit that you might need for the day because we might not be able to make it back in.
And a shirt wasn't on the list.
It was in the backpack, you dick.
Okay, so go on with your story.
No, fuck you.
Where
I'm
are
done.
we?
On with the
done.
chloroform.
No, fuck you guys. You don't deserve the ending.
Oh, man. That's honestly one of my favorite parts about being in a band is like that friendship, the camaraderie
Yep.
when you're not playing. Like when you're
Yeah.
going somewhere to play like that, it's like you're, not
The things that happen along the way.
yeah, you
For
guys
sure.
are experiencing shit
Yeah.
together. You're going into battle together. Not that it's like battle, but it's
Yeah, yeah.
it's just a different. You're accomplishing something. You're out there doing something. You're creating something, and
Yeah.
you have like it's a journey. And the people that you're going on it with, like that's a special kind of bond, and
Yes.
you can't find it. It's not the same as with like coworkers or something like that,
Well, actually, I this is something I knew I was going to probably end up bringing up tonight. I think, like, there has to be some sort of a business acumen for it to work out, which I think maybe is why it never did for us. Because, like, you can say, like, yeah, we weren't driven enough, but at the same time, we were also too loyal. Because a lot of bands you hear of, it's like, this person left this band to join that band, and then that's when they became successful, and this and that, and like, it's sort of a business move. Like, we were, the five of us in that band specifically, were too loyal to each other. Like, I was asked.
You really think all five of us were loyal? I would say the three of us were loyal to each other.
Both me and Darren were asked.
Oh no, I'm talking about.
Oh yeah, no, I'm
Garden State
talking
Radio.
about. Yeah, no.
In Arms, yes,
yes.
100% in Arms.
Both me and Darren were asked to leave In Arms to join Love Automatic at one point or another. And
I'm gonna call up Brent right now.
and we never did. I don't know that it was Brent.
I know,
Maybe
I'm sure it
but it
wasn't
was.
him.
Yeah, I think it was Mitch.
No, but Brent always told me he wanted Darren.
Yeah,
Like that wasn't even a secret.
yeah, that makes sense. Like he was like the pinnacle for what a drummer should be locally, which is funny because when you I think probably just because of the stage presence thing, but like a Fate and Chance's drummer was better than Darren, like by a long shot.
he was
like,
incredible. But
technically.
those guys were playing together since they were like 6.
Yeah.
They had a lot
but he
of
was
history.
he was a better drummer, but Darren had such good stage presence while he was drumming, like the energy behind the kit and like the just the power like that he played with was like so fucking good. And
Definitely.
Yeah, I
Hard
think
hitter,
having
passionate.
him in that band definitely elevated us
Oh, yeah.
higher than maybe we should have been.
yeah, 100%.
A drummer can always do that for a band. Not
and you know-
always, but
I
commonly.
always say, any band, like, you can have a guitarist and bassist that play the most simple shit, like just 4-chord songs. You need a good drummer and a good singer, and you'll be fine. Mm-hmm. Like, guitarists and bassists can play simple stuff. If you have a good singer who sings good hooks and everything like that, and a good
captivates the audience.
Yeah.
The drummer holds it all together.
yeah, drummer like keeps solid time and like really keeps the energy moving, then you'll be fine.
I think it definitely helps to have everybody.
Well,
you know,
obviously it does, but I always like
that's like the bare minimum.
yeah, like you look at, for example, like punkish bands who like they have the simple 4-chord like just power chords and stuff like that, and the guitarists and bassists are doing bare minimum. but the drummer is on fucking point. It's like, Jesus Christ, these guys are good.
Yeah.
I really had a chip on my shoulder about being a bass player.
Thought you were a good bass player, did you?
No, it's bass player syndrome.
Yeah.
Like
I mean,
you
I
always
think I
feel
kinda
like you're
Because
relegated-
I was a bass player too, so
you
I
feel
here's
like
the-
you're
hang on.
relegated to the background.
But here's the thing. I had a chip on my shoulder to begin with because I had the least experience of everyone in every band I was in. And it was like, okay, I got to kind of prove myself. And I know I'm not like the best technical player out of anyone here.
Yeah.
So I have to try to do something. And I was always trying to like prove that I deserve to be there. You know what I mean? And on top of that, yes, bass player syndrome where
Yeah.
you feel like, all right, when they going to let me shine, man?
Yeah.
You know? I'm always like trying to find a song with like a bass solo or something, even though they don't exist.
Yeah.
I mean, what can I do like to make myself like stand out a little bit? Because it's kind of like a drummer. Like with drumming and bass player, like bass, unless you play music, you're probably not gonna recognize like a good drummer or a good bass player. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? To the average person, it's like, oh yeah, you're in the band. And
yeah, it gets
that's
lost
cool.
in the mix.
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. I feel like to the average person, the drummer gets the least credit.
No, bass by far.
Yeah,
Okay.
definitely bass player.
I think
I mean,
Definitely.
yeah, I guess
Unless you're Pete Wentz, you know.
I guess in that thing you do, like they didn't even give the bass player a name. They
Come
called
on.
him TB player.
Yeah, to be like the whole movie, they never named the bass player.
And then at the end, in the like closing credits, they were like TB player. They gave him that name.
That's funny.
Yeah.
there you have it.
That's a real thing, and I've always, I don't know. I think maybe just in life, I had a chip on my shoulder, so.
I guess
That
I
carried
think
over.
I think it probably also depends on the kind of music, because if you get into like funk and soul music, like
Yeah, that's
Oh,
the
bass is
bassist-
holding it
oh
down,
my-
man.
oh my
Yeah.
god,
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Just
but
like-
within our scene, yeah,
Yeah.
you could easily
yeah,
get
But
lost.
even when we started the cover band too, like I mean, with metal, like my whole job is just to hold it down, you know, stay in the pocket.
Yeah.
No need for you to show off.
You had some bass parts in the cover band.
In the
man.
cover band, yeah, I was much more important to a lot of the songs because there's
Yeah.
such a variety. You're not playing all rock and roll, you know.
yeah. But the funny thing is, when you actually like get a little more into production and sound mixing and even live sound mixing and stuff, when you realize how empty everything sounds
yeah.
when you take the bass out.
Even if the bass isn't recorded right or if the sound is not right,
Yeah.
it throws everything off.
Yeah.
100%. I had this band. We were playing a ton of shows. Next thing you know, we were at practice one day and we're like, man, why is it that every time we play a show, we just never have that ball sound? Turns out our bass player was turning his amp down because he didn't know how to play the songs. We had to fire him and get a new bass player, but we went
Jesus.
so long having a pretend bass player.
Wow.
And we didn't know. Are you kidding me?
That's amazing.
That's real.
It's the Arbery's original bass player.
Oh my
That's a
god!
fun moment in music history there for
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. Wait, all right.
How long?
Then we played a show with a guy who didn't even really know how to play bass, but boy, just to have those open notes in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What
But
a difference.
It's amazing. Like that's also like it's a curse and a blessing being a bass player because even if you do fuck up, a lot of the times it gets hidden.
Yeah.
Like just having that low end there is
Yeah.
almost enough.
Yeah.
I mean,
Definitely.
every
Gets
so
kinda
often you
lost
get
in the
like a
sauce.
sour note that people were like, wait, something was wrong there. I don't know what it was, but I know something was wrong.
Yeah,
But
he's
it
on to the
definitely,
next thing
definitely
already.
wasn't the bass player
wasn't
because
the
nobody
bass
can
player.
hear him.
Yeah. Most people don't even like
know what
if
a
you-
bass is.
Well,
Yeah.
that too. But if you played a song for somebody, you say, "All right, could you see if you could tell me what the bass line is? Like, how does it go?" People don't even hear it. You know,
Uh-huh.
like you really have to have a trained ear.
Yeah. I'll bet like even some like classic bass lines, like you figure like the opening of Living on a Prayer, which you played countless times, like a lot of people would probably be like, oh, you know, that opening that the guitar plays,
Yeah,
that's
that
like
guitar riff.
on the low strings, that guitar riff. It's like,
Yeah.
it's not a fucking guitar.
Yeah.
Technically, it's a guitar, bass guitar.
Just shut the fuck up.
That reminds me, there was one show in Garden State Radio that you couldn't play, and I filled in for you on bass.
Oh my
For
god.
some reason, I don't know. And
Oh.
it was tough because I was like, oh man, I got to figure out the bass parts, but I couldn't figure out all the bass parts in time.
Uh-huh.
Like there was
Yeah.
It was a lot of
We'll say
songs.
it was a time issue. I don't know if that's the case.
That's
or if I
really
was-
not the
or if I was
case.
lazy.
It's really not the case
But
at all.
we'll say I didn't have the time to learn everything because there's too many
Yeah.
things to learn.
Sure, we'll roll with that.
And we
Yeah.
played the show, and for songs like that, for Living on a Prayer, I just open or
Just
that
an
first
open
note,
note?
just let it ring, and you're just like, what?
It's like, oh no.
I
Oh
remember
no.
our singer Kelly.
This is the important part of the song.
She came up to us after the show, and she's like, or what? She said something. She's like, why was Brian so bad? Why was he? So...
Oh, she had a way with words, didn't she?
Yeah.
She said something like that. It had me crack it up. I was like, no, it's because I didn't learn the proper bass parts. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, the band still sounded okay.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, most people were too drunk to notice.
yeah.
And then there was one show where we were too drunk to notice.
Ooh,
Yes.
I remember that
Headliners,
one.
which we talked about this last
We
time.
did. We did. We can glaze over that. That's
I always
Yeah.
remember that show because the DJ that was like coming on like in between our sets, it was the 4th of July weekend, so he had this whole getup. He came out wearing these like American flag like. Did you ever see Rocky IV with Ivan Drago? You know, when
Apollo
Apollo Creed just come to the ring with the top hat and the red, white, and blue outfit on. That's what this guy had. He's running around through headliners in Neptune City with this outfit, and I swore, I'm like, that looks like a guy I work with. Like it looks like
Not
another guy.
Apollo Creed.
So like I came back to work on Monday and I was like, I went up to this guy. I think his name was Kyle. I was like,
crazy.
you don't have like a side gig as a DJ, do you? He's like, no. Why? Like, I just saw some guy look like you.
Then you walked away, and he was like, looking over his shoulder. How does he know?
It's like Ron Swanson
Yeah,
on
like
Parks
Duke
and Rec.
Silver.
Like that's his Duke Silver.
I fucking love that show.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Same, definitely.
So now that we're all like kind of, I mean, mostly retired.
Retired.
Like
yeah.
not Brian.
Retired.
So just,
Retired.
Yeah.
Okay. Like,
Yeah.
what is it like when people ask you, like, people find out, oh, you were in a band? Like, what was that like? Like, what's the most common thing you hear from, the question you hear from people? Because I know for me, it's like, oh, you must have got a lot of chicks, right?
No, honestly, as I get older, there's no questions or anything. It's just like, oh yeah, I used to be a musician. Oh my god, that's so cool. End of conversation.
Yeah, so anyway, so I need this tree taken down.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's
Yeah,
it.
Exactly.
No, nobody has any interest at all in hearing about it.
Not really. No,
Very-
not
very
not once-
rarely, man.
Not once you get out of your 20s.
Yeah.
At least in my experience, it's always like, and plus, I always feel weird talking about like. I always feel like if I tell stories about touring or things I've done and the stuff I'm proud of, but I always feel like if I talk about it, it'll sound like I'm bragging, which makes me not want to talk about it because
Yeah,
I don't want to
yeah.
be that guy.
Yeah,
You know?
I feel exactly
Yeah.
that.
So
Yeah.
you'd almost rather just not talk about it, but you also don't want to be an ass too at the same time. But yeah, people
It's
really
crazy
don't
that
have...
we live in a day and age where we're all feel like we're a burden to share, that we feel accomplished, that we do
Yeah.
all these tours
Yeah.
and stuff.
Well,
but it
here's
makes me. I feel the same way. I'm like, nah, I'm not gonna say
I
too
don't,
much
I don't
about
feel
it.
bad because I know I'm not bragging. Like,
Yeah.
like if it comes up naturally, like organically in a conversation, I could talk about it, and it's all a matter of like what you say and how you say it. It was like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, bro, we played all these places. Yeah, man, all these other bands sucked, but we were the best. Like, it's not like that. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, we.
But what if you
played-
genuinely feel that way?
Well, then you have. My guess is you have a lot of other problems you need to worry about first.
Yeah.
Oh,
But no, I mean, sometimes it comes up, and especially like with me in construction, like there's always at least one guy. It's like, oh yeah, I used to play guitar, I used to play drums, and then sometimes it's somebody who like is a really good musician, but has only played like in their garage or something like that.
Yeah.
So they went to, oh yeah, I could play this song. I sit and watch YouTube videos of how to play these Zeppelin songs. It's like, oh yeah, did you ever like play shows or anything? Nah, I never did that. So it's like, all right, well, I know I'm not as good as you technically, but like that's the most fun part, I think, is actually
Yeah.
going out
Yeah.
there performing.
Oh my
100%.
god. That's the only thing I miss.
Only thing.
Yeah, me too.
Just
Like, I really don't, like, just picking up a guitar and playing in my room, like, I didn't do that much when I was younger, which informs why I never really made it as a musician. But the thing that I miss, like, I don't miss that. I specifically miss just getting up on stage and, like, just in front of a crowd.
yeah,
Like,
that's what it is.
can't replace that feeling.
It's that way of like you feel like you're expressing yourself, or you're getting something out, and I feel like every performance in some way is kind of cathartic, where it's like I have all this in me, this energy, and I want to get it out in some way where I'm doing something, I'm performing in front of people, and you could,
It was therapeutic.
yeah,
Yeah,
it really
definitely.
was.
Like, for me, I was such an insecure teenager and like
We
into
all
my
were.
early 20s, but like, you know, I wasn't like the cool kid. Like even when we were in the band and we went to all the parties, like I was kind of like the goofy loser in the
Hang on a
corner and
second.
shit.
I'm going to cut you off right here. You forget that when we were in that scene, you were the scene. Like, you fit the bill. You were the guy.
No,
Like,
I looked like I fit the bill, but
But what
like
I'm s-
when we hung out with the other bands, like everyone was kind of like, "Oh, this fucking guy." Like Fido and
I
you
find
and-
that hard to believe, Drew.
yeah, I don't know how much I buy that.
When you joined Union City Blue, I hadn't known you at the time, but
Uh-huh.
all I heard, and this was from many people, yeah, I don't know much about him, but I heard he's a really nice guy.
Yeah, that's all
That's-
people could say about me. Not like he's cool, he's fun to hang out with, just he's nice.
Well, that is true also.
Like, I
Drew,
talked to
in
him, he's like the nicest guy, but like that was my first impression. I was like, oh, this must be a really cool guy.
in general, Drew
And
really
I
is
am.
one of those guys where you're not going to meet someone who has something bad to say about him.
Right.
Yeah, I
it's so
make
true.
I make goddamn sure of that.
Yeah.
Even I'm sure even like ex-girlfriends or something like that who would probably, oh, fuck him. Like, I don't think there's even any of those.
I'm sure they'll figure something out.
Yeah.
I'm sure if they tried real hard.
Because like I know Brian, like there was a ton of people who like warned me about getting into a band with him at first.
Yeah.
But he was. I
Amen.
mean, you were.
Actually, Tony,
Should've
I
listened
had,
to
I
them,
had
man.
no warning for you whatsoever because I didn't know anybody that you knew. Like, we didn't meet through mutual friends. I just found him and walked up to him like a fucking creeper. Like, hey, man, you look like you're in bands. You know anyone who can sing?
That was
And he just-
totally normal back in the day too. Can
Yeah.
I just say
It really-
that actually, like you
It
say,
was in a music store. you know,
yeah,
so-
you say it's weird now, but
Yeah.
like I have so many interactions like that where like,
he thought I was going to rob him.
oh really?
I didn't know what was gonna happen.
I was in the store there was nobody in the store, and I was in there for way too long, getting up the courage to walk
Yeah,
up to
yeah.
him and be like, hey, man.
We're told to watch out for people like that.
Yeah.
it's true.
How'd that turn out for you?
That was great.
We get a memo from Loss Prevention about people lingering in the section too long.
Exactly. Just recently.
That is a good story, which we also told on the last
Yes.
episode.
Yeah, I'm sure.
It's good that you guys remember this. 'Cause
Yeah.
I don't. But
I think we actually
It
did.
comes in waves. I feel
Yeah.
it, you know.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I will say, just the person that I am on stage is just so different than the person I am off the stage.
Yeah, you're very reserved off
I am
stage
so
and like
reserved,
kind
but
of a
on
quiet
stage, I'm
kid. And
crazy.
yeah, fucking
I
psychopath.
think a lot of people are like that though.
But the point that I was getting to before was like I was always very insecure off stage and everything, but like for some reason I felt being on stage was like the moment where I could be like cool for fucking once.
It was like being in a band, especially back in the day, being a part of our scene was definitely a confidence booster. I think for many of us, you know.
Yeah.
And for me, I think that's how I formed such a strong identity back then with the scene because it was everything. Like that's who I was. I wasn't like Brian. I was Brian and the
In
band.
this band, yeah.
Exactly. You know, and that's how all my friends knew me. That's how like I dated girls. Like that's how I did
Yeah,
everything. It
that was your
all-
lifestyle.
Yeah, it all came back to the band. Like I liked going to school because I could, talk about my band and try and like get people
Yeah.
out to shows, like we would just it wasn't
Yeah.
about school, it was about promoting stuff. you
Yeah.
know?
I mean, I felt like I was in between scenes. Like I was part of that scene when I was in Arms, but I never
But
I never felt like
everybody
I
else
fit
had
into
hair.
it. I think that might have been another thing,
Even I had hair. back
another
then.
chip on my shoulder.
Yeah.
But I think that was a huge thing actually because I wanted to be a scene kid. I was a little too thick and I was a little too bald.
Couldn't
to
fit
make
into
it
those
work.
jeans, could you?
No, they looked so bad. Like I just felt like I had a Humpty Dumpty vibe when I wore skinny jeans. So I
Yeah,
just
but you know what?
didn't
You actually made it work by every show you played was like you cut off the sleeves, which just makes you look a little more badass.
Tough.
I was really
So-
into Larry the Cable Guy.
So you looked like the tough guy on stage, where all the rest of us had like the hair and everything and the skinny jeans. You looked like the tough guy who was like the fucking bouncer of the group.
Yeah,
Like,
definitely.
like
We
all
needed
right,
that.
like
I shaved my head so I could look tough, like a bouncer or an Israeli or something.
The rest of us had like crazy long hair, the skinniest of jeans.
Well,
like,
I remember when we played the first of those Battle of the Bands, like at the very end, the ones in Morris Plains, we did a promo picture outside, and I have that picture. It came out good, but so many people who saw that picture thought that Darren was a girl in the picture.
yeah, that checks
I
out.
had that same thing happen.
So I think
I
it
can
was just
verify that
I think it
people
was
thought
just
that,
the
yeah.
comparison of me versus everybody else in the band.
Yeah.
Everybody was
Yeah.
like that lean, like skinny look, and here's me. You know,
There was one floating around of that photo where the heads were on each other's necks. It was fucking hilarious.
Wait, I don't understand. Like the heads
they
were swapped.
Yeah, on the
somebody
different
swapped.
necks.
Yeah.
I think me and Fido swapped, and I was on his like chicken neck, and he's on my thick neck. Oh, it was hilarious.
I gotta get Fido in here eventually.
Yeah, he would be a fun addition.
Oh,
And we'll
man.
just kick Brian out.
I have like a bunch of old pictures from the bands that I need to like get off that hard drive. It's behind where Tony's sitting, and like I haven't done it yet. And I have the thing. I haven't thrown that hard drive away because I'm thinking like, oh no, I'm gonna get those pictures. I'm gonna get them.
Uh-huh.
And there it sits.
Nah,
Yeah,
you
to
got-
this
you gotta-
day.
you gotta
Maybe
save
do that
stuff,
because
man.
I have a hard drive that has like a bunch of stuff on it that just does not fucking work anymore. Like I went to plug it in one day and it just started clicking and I was like, well, that's not good.
Yeah, I have to give it to Rich or something. See if he could get
Yeah.
the shit off there.
Yeah, do that.
It's
just make sure
important,
there's
man.
not too much porn
Memories,
on there.
you know?
There's probably a decent amount. Listen, I was single for a long time. Okay. That was the other thing I was gonna say about like after quitting the band, like when you go home and you just have nothing to do now, like it's Friday or Saturday.
Got all this free time. Don't
Yeah.
have a show coming up. I know that.
Hey, well, I guess I'll watch porn again. You know, I mean it's starting to hurt now, but I remember there was one point too where like when I left Garden State Radio, like I was the one who ran like the website and all that. I had all the passwords for everything online. So then like, you know, there was the drama between me and the drummer, and then months later he had to come see me to get the passwords. I was like, oh, here we go. But I had just seen him like randomly like a day or two before, and I was in Flemington with a girl that I was seeing. We were getting like ice cream or something, and she was breaking up with me as I saw him, and he kind of like. It was weird because it's like after there's drama with somebody, but then they act like everything's still cool. So we like waved and honked the horn. And I was like, anyway, so you don't want to stay?
Nice
then-
1-2 punch.
Yeah. And then it was like that night that like she had broken up with me, and I was like at home getting drunk by myself, and he was like, "Hey, can I stop by and get all that info?" I was like, "Yeah, come on by." I was like fucking like swaying at the door.
my.
So you all right, man? He's like, "Nah, you just got dumped."
It's been a day, bro.
Yeah. This day sucks hot dicks.
See, I never had that like bad breakup thing with the band. So like when I would go out sometimes I would end up at one of the local bars that they were playing or whatever. So I would see them and like they would come up to me, "Hey, how you doing?" And I'm like, "Hey, what's up?" Like you're kind of a dick, but kind of a dick, but we don't have bad blood, so I'm not going to be. And I'm like so non-confrontational.
Yeah. No, me too.
Non-confrontational. There we go.
Who could be mad at Drew? Come on.
Some people.
Okay.
Do you ever have
Nowadays,
you have
not
any
I.
like bad like
To be
band
the
breakup
one thing
stories?
I gotta first of all, from an arms like these standpoint, when we first broke up though, it didn't feel like that great. There was a little
Yeah, there was
tension there.
tension.
It kind of seemed like the band was divided, and I was like in the super like not on either side.
Well, it
Yeah.
was kind of like after that last show, we all just kind of like our spirits were broken.
Yeah. That's the only reason that band broke up is because we did so well at something and still got fucked over. And it was
Yeah.
like, you know what? Why even bother?
No, definitely. And then that's what happened. We got played. We were like first place, and then we were no place. It was
Yeah.
silly, but I just remember seeing like it seemed as for me that it was like Darren and Fido heavy music side because they were thinking in their mind, "Oh, we didn't make it. We got to get heavier." And then I know you guys wanted
Which
to
honestly,
get more chorusy.
they were right.
At that time period, in hindsight, that is definitely what took off.
Yeah.
And I ended up
yeah.
joining The Air I Breathe, and that band
Yeah.
was way heavier.
Yeah.
And that is what took off.
Not only-
I didn't know that then,
Yeah.
but you know.
Not only that's what took off, like that's part of, like going back to that, I was part of the reason that we never really succeeded because I was so adamant about still having somewhat of a mainstream like commercial side to the music where it was like, all right, we're a metal band, but like, you know, I still want some singing parts and this and that.
But I was
like,
I was on board with that too. I
Yeah, I
wanted
know.
structure and I wanted hooks.
yeah, but
The problem is that metal is such an acquired taste anyway that there's no way it's really ever going to be mainstream. So you kind of have to jump in with both feet and just be heavy and just accept it.
At the time I was not willing to do that, but
Yeah.
looking back, you know, hindsight,
No such thing as halfway crooks, you know?
yeah.
Gang, gang.
So looking back, hindsight, like you guys were right. Like we should have just like gone in full heavy breakdowns and everything like that. And I was just not willing to give up like that sort of pop sensibility.
I just kind of like followed whatever you did because I didn't know enough about everything.
Yeah.
I just, you know, this is my friend. I'm only here because of him. So
Well, I felt like I had some sort of say because I did most of the writing and like was more often than not the only one in the room with any sort of music theory. So like someone would be like, "Hey, this sounds good," and I'm like, that's out of key though.
you know what the thing is too, though?
But that's bad in heavy music. Like to have that stringent measure.
You were a little too strict with
Yeah.
like
Yeah, I was.
the theory. Well, you can't do that because that doesn't sound right.
Yeah.
No, but it actually sounds. It works for the song. And like
I know.
that
certainly
get bogged
wasn't-
down in that a lot.
Yeah, that was a problem for me.
Yeah. Well, listen, nobody's perfect.
Yeah.
So okay, so we've accepted that you're the reason the band broke up.
All right. Yeah, I'm good with it.
I love talking to like. Did you ever talk to like older dudes that are still in bands and like still playing shows?
Still
like,
gonna make it.
not even that, but just like still playing like the local dive bars and stuff, playing like, you know, all these old Zeppelin songs and ZZ Top. It's like, you know, that market's really shrinking these days.
Man.
Yeah.
Hey man, if they like doing it, you know.
Yeah,
I mean,
honestly,
yeah.
if you're just doing it for fun, like if you have low expectations, great. Fucking go for it. Like you want to get the hell out of the house on a Friday night and go play your guitar with some friends, have some fun. Wonderful. If like you raise your expectations to like, oh, like man, tonight's gonna be so good, like we're gonna fucking sell out this club that we're like, fuck off. No,
Yeah,
you're not.
I don't really hear that.
Nobody's there for you.
I feel like there's some
They're
guys
there
though.
for the booze.
I've
Yeah.
met older guys that think they're getting signed, bro.
Really?
And I'm just like, I don't ever want to be that.
Yeah.
That's freaking me out.
Don't be that guy.
Yeah, no way.
Like I get it if you're in like a wedding band or something and you're actually you have a business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you're just playing like fucking Joe Schmo's pub around the corner.
Playing for tips.
Yeah,
Ozzy
but not even that. But
Osbourne
you
covers.
you're getting mad at the other band. Oh, you know, you were out of key on that. You should have practiced. Like, really, bro? Look at where we are right now.
Yeah.
Like there's fucking crackheads taking a piss on the side of the bar right now.
Yeah.
And you're talking about whether I'm out of key.
Yeah.
Let's be serious now.
Yeah.
I know there was a guy that I worked with where he still played shows like every weekend, and it was like he was like divorced and stuff like that because he never wanted to like give it up, and he always took it so serious. And it's like,
Can't do
really,
it, man.
bro? Like,
Yeah.
Do it.
come on, like let's be honest. Like you're not gonna make it, but you have to accept it's a hobby. Like, is this really more important than your family or
Well,
whatever?
those are the people who don't understand that you can't, again, like what we were talking about before, you can't be half in, If you're actually trying to make it, then that's what you have to you know?
Yeah.
But that works when you're 22, not
Yeah,
exactly.
48.
Right, but I
Exactly.
mean,
Even if
like, say you're
30 something,
Yeah.
it's like I started the cover band because In Arms Like These broke up, and
Well, there was an in between period for like a year.
yeah, no, but
well, didn't you do Union
'Cause
City
we-
Blue
no-
after?
Well,
No,
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 because
that
We
after
almost
Union City,
revived it.
UCB broke up, and then Karsten started New Brilliant, where
Yeah.
he wrote and
Oh, yeah.
recorded an entire album by himself, and then decided to hire, not hire, but to get people in the band so we could play shows.
Yeah.
And that was how we met Ryan.
yeah, but I was on the recording. I was like in it at the time when he recorded stuff, so I was on it.
Excuse me.
No, not a problem.
I'm going to fact check you
listen.
here, Steve.
Listen, bitch, I
I
did
prostrate
something.
myself before
Yeah.
you and humbly beg your forgiveness.
Track 3, synth, it's all here.
Yeah.
No, but like when In Arms Like These broke up, I was 24, and I was like, it was kind of like a logical decision of like, I'm not going to get into another band. Like, why am I going to bother with that?
And to be fair, you had opportunities.
Yeah, I certainly did.
Yeah, like I know at least the band I was in at the time, we wanted you to come tour with us.
Uh-huh.
And you were like, "Nah, I don't tour." And we're like,
No,
"Oh,
I was like, how much can you pay me per week? And you were like, nothing. And I was like, well, I have bills and shit.
yeah." I definitely respected you for that, though. I was like, "Oh, well, at least he knows what he wants,"
No, I didn't. I was mad about it, but I
Mad about what, though?
Like mad about not being able to follow my dreams because
Because
I
of
had
bills and
because I
life.
had bills
yeah.
and shit.
Okay, I see. I looked at it the other way around. Like I was like, oh, I guess he doesn't like he's over that
No.
trying to make it. And I thought that was cool. I respected that, but
It wasn't
turns out
like
I
I was-
respected you for nothing.
Yeah, it was. You still don't.
My whole view of you is just totally
It
skewed.
turns out you were completely unworthy of our respect.
Yeah. So 24, band broke up, and I was like, it's pointless for me to try and start another band and like try and make it, quote unquote, and it's gonna take a couple years for like everything to really get together, like get people together and like songs and like really develop a following and like actually kind of make it. And by then I'm gonna be 28, 29, and like it's nobody wants to see a fucking 30-something-year-old scene kid trying to make it.
Yeah.
So I was like, it's pointless. Like, let me just start a fucking cover band, play some bars, and have some fun. And then that ended up taking off way more than I thought it would.
Yeah, I
The
think
fact that that's still around today is
Yeah.
hilarious.
Really a
and they're
testament to-
really good.
They're like one of the top cover bands in
Yeah.
the tri-state area.
Yeah.
It's like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, if I bring that name up to like random people, like they'll
They're like,
know who
yeah,
I'm
I've
talking
heard
about.
of that.
Yeah, which I find so funny. And then
I always feel a little salty when I see like Facebook friends of mine like post something like, "Oh, going to see Garden State Radio."
yeah, you got to check this
Really?
band out. Like, dude,
Like
I
I
know
thought
all
you
about
only
it.
know about them because you came to see me when I was in the band,
Yeah.
and now you're sharing their fucking shit,
Uh-huh.
and you know what happened.
Yeah.
Like really,
Yeah.
that's just me being like bitter and salty,
Yeah.
even though whatever. It is what
It's
it
a
is.
cover band. It's all good.
I know.
Yeah. Well, actually, the funny thing is, from time to time, I'll say like, "Oh, I was in a cover band, and this and that," and people will be like, "Oh, what was the name? Maybe I've heard of it." And I'm like, "Oh, Garden State Radio," and they're like, "I've heard of that band. You were in that band?" And I'm like, "Motherfucker, I was that band."
Yeah,
Ooh.
I started that band.
I started that.
Yeah,
band.
I started that band. I was the founding member. I like brought everything together and like had the vision. That was my baby. And then I was like, "Fuck this, I'm out,"
Yeah.
because shit got just
Yeah.
too personal. Mad about it.
I remember before the cover band when we were in New Brilliant, we were talking about going on a tour. And at the time, I just got transferred to a new building with like a new foreman. And I was like, listen, there's a chance, the next few weeks I might have to be gone. My band's going on tour. And I just remember, I remember him looking at me like, okay. He didn't even ask like, oh, what kind of music is it? Like,
No questions.
yeah, just like, right, okay, you're a fucking apprentice taking off work already,
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
Probably a
'cause
good
you're
thing you
gonna
didn't leave
make
for
it.
that tour.
Yeah, I feel like such an asshole for how much I mean, it sounds fucked up, but it's like how much I really thought like we were gonna get signed. We were up next. It was our turn.
I was convinced.
I remember talking to like,
New
like-
Brilliant, really?
no. This is back. I'm going back to In Arms.
Oh, okay.
But like, we had played like maybe 5 or 6 shows. Like Tony just joined the band because we didn't play that much before Tony joined.
No, a couple shows
Yeah.
and 2 like shitty recordings.
So I remember like, this is it. Like, this is the missing piece. Like, we got a good front man now. We're going to do it. I'm like, oh, I don't know if I should quit my job and all this stuff.
Oh, shit.
What an asshole.
I
my
probably
God.
didn't even have a job, so.
No. Well, FYE.
Oh, yeah. But then,
Yeah.
then after that, though, I'm
Yeah.
saying.
No, but I actually remember his like audition when he came in. I was like, I hadn't heard you.
Of course,
Nothing.
yeah.
You just said like, oh yeah, I can do
I remember
this.
we had like 3 different auditions before him.
Yeah, but we brought him in and we were like, all right, we're just gonna play a song, see what you think about it, and like you just chill on the couch and see if you like the music and whatever. And we started playing. I guess you said you got so excited you just jumped up, grabbed the mic, and started improvising.
Yeah.
And all of us just put our heads down. We were so happy, like at how everything sounded. We didn't want him to see us smiling so
that's-
hard.
Yeah.
That's so
everyone, like, Darren's
Like just heads down, like this is fucking incredible.
We got
I-
something.
And
I-
Steve
I
doesn't
couldn't do
have
that.
hair. Steve doesn't have hair to cover his face.
Yeah. I was
Yeah,
just happy. I was like, fuck yeah, bro.
This is great. Yeah, so
that's
that was
awesome,
like
man.
a brilliant tryout. Like
Yeah.
he got
sounded
said he got,
full from the beginning, and
Yeah.
I loved improv. And,
Yeah,
and it just,
he said he got so excited from how the intro of the song started that
you
he
guys
just
came
jumped.
in with like these woes and stuff, and I was like, let's fucking do this. Like, what are you talking about? I got you right now.
Damn, motherfucker, they got woes.
I was like, what? Well, the two guitar players, like Drew and fucking Vito, they both start woeing in the middle of the chorus. And I'm like, shit, background vocals? Now we're talking.
That's so great. The best bands always happen like that, though, where it's like...
or apparently they don't.
It just seems to come together, though. Like, even in the moment, though, like, it did. You know what I mean? Like...
Yeah.
Like, there was a time where that band was, like, popular, like, among our scene. You know, like, I put you guys on a show that I did once, you know?
I remember that.
Yeah.
Firehouse?
Yeah,
Bradley
Firehouse.
Gardens Firehouse, yeah.
Yeah, ended up being the last Even the Odd show. Fun fact.
It's funny, too. It's funny also because after coming up in a metal band, like, that was my foundation.
Yeah.
And then when we did the cover band, like, we would play songs. Like, the closest thing we got to like a metal song, we used to play fucking Paramore.
Yep.
But we would play that and perform it almost as if we were still in the metal band.
Yeah.
So there's like serious headbanging.
That was one of the things.
I almost feel like we got a little carried away.
We played like 80 songs where you and I headbanged in sync.
Yeah.
And that was one of the things that got us so much attention was the amount of energy that was going on stage in a fucking cover band. Like, between you and I, like, Brian just kind of was off to the side. Kelly,
I feel like you had the demeanor of like a typical bass player, just to kind of hang back.
just to kind of
Listen,
you guys should have switched.
When you guys left the band, I had my time. All right, don't worry. All right, somebody had to carry the weight. All right.
Yeah.
I was so like not into it anymore at that time.
Yeah.
I was just like, I'm gonna show up. I'm gonna do my thing.
Uh-huh.
These songs were fun to play, so I definitely was. I was very much over like headbanging and like freaking out on stage. I'm like, I'm just here to make some money, have a little fun with my friends.
To be honest, I feel bad saying it, but the one show where your amp crapped out in the first set, like, we didn't notice you were gone the rest of the show.
It's like the bass
Because
story.
he did all of just the rhythm guitar, so basically him and Steve were doing the same notes, and if the bass was turned up loud enough, like...
Listen. I hate to defend myself, but I feel like I have to because
go.
I had moments in songs where I had octave parts. I had like little. I had my time.
No,
okay,
you
I
had
had
your
my time.
moments,
And fun fact: do you remember that cover band? I want.
No.
They played a lot. They were on 107 with us. They played a lot of.
I need
Life
something.
Speed?
Not Life Speed.
Not the ones with the.
They used to be. They used to be called Stuck in a Decade, and then they changed it to something else.
Are they the ones that played Time Bomb?
Yes.
I know who you're talking about.
Yes. So
I know
anyway,
the band. Yeah.
After I quit Garden State Radio, like, I had fooled them apparently. Like, they thought I was like a good guitar player because like they had seen me at like a couple shows and like I was rocking what I was doing, like I think they were like watching closely when we were playing Boys of Summer, and I had some parts in that song, like lead parts.
Yeah.
So they assumed that I could like play lead guitar, and I remember they asked me, they were like, "Hey, we need a lead guitar player. We know it's you. Like, you're our guy. Like, can you just..." And I told them, I'm like, guys, listen, like, I'm not a lead guitar player. I've always been a rhythm guitar player. I'm actually not that good at guitar. I just kind of, I do my thing, so.
If I know the part well enough, I can...
I'm like, if you guys
fake
need
it.
a rhythm guitar player, I'm all yours. But, in terms of lead, I'm probably not your best bet. They were actually hounding me for like a couple weeks. They're like, are you sure you can't play like this lead line? Like, if you could at least play this, like, we can work with it. And I was just like, no, I really can't.
Like, I know for a fact that my hands don't do that.
I promise you that I can't do this. I know,
Guys,
I know you
how many
think
times
I
I tell you I suck?
Yeah, but like I took that as a compliment. I'm like, wow, like I definitely fooled some people, And
Honestly,
I was all about that anyway, though. Like,
honestly, I was pretty good at fooling people. Like, everyone thinks I'm a really good guitar player, but for the amount of time I have been playing, I mean, I don't play anymore, but even in the cover band and in the metal band and everything, like, I figured out easy ways to do things that sounded good.
yes,
Because I wasn't that guy to sit there and practice for 3 or 4 hours. Like, you went from our band to a band with real guitar players, and I'm sure you noticed the difference. Like,
They practice a lot.
yeah, like those kids,
a lot.
and I say kids because they were
kids,
fucking young. Like, they could shred.
But you know what the thing is about you? You were always very reliable as a guitar player. Like,
reliable.
But no, I mean, I'm serious. You were there. You did your job. You fucking held it down, and you did everything we needed you to do. Like, you may not have been shredding every song, but you didn't really fuck up. Like, you weren't.
No.
You weren't like showing up late. You weren't being an asshole. Like you were there.
You realize
came
you
to
just
work.
pointed to me when you said showed up late. You weren't showing up late. You weren't looking like an idiot. You had all your hair. I mean, you checked all the boxes, Drew.
I didn't realize I did that. Sorry.
You changed your strings. You tuned your instrument.
You changed your strings. You washed your ass. I mean, what more can you ask for?
No, I definitely had things that were going for me that I was like reliable, but like in terms of the music that we were playing, like there were just a lot of things that were lacking. Where like I think it's because like I was always forced into, and in both situations, Garden State Radio and in Arms Like These, I was always forced into the lead guitar situation because I was the better guitar player, but I'm not a lead guitar player. Like, I always felt
you were there just by process of elimination.
Yeah, like, I always, was
That's
a
why I
rhythm
played
guitar
bass.
player. Like,
Process of elimination.
I preferred doing rhythmic stuff, riffs and stuff. Like, I didn't really like soloing that much. It didn't really interest me. I always just got stuck in that role because any band that I've ever been in, I was always the better person at that, even though I wasn't that great.
But there's also something to be said for, and I can obviously, I'm speaking for myself here, but I know other people can relate in that you do what you do and you do it very, very well,
Thank you.
Like
But
that
goes back to the reliability thing.
Yeah. Like if you can't do much, what you can do, you better be pretty great at
figure
it.
it out,
You know what I mean? So like,
yeah. All right.
It's funny now, like, now that I have a kid and I'm like, there's so much of me, I want to teach him music, but he's still young. Like he doesn't take anything seriously really because he's a kid.
if he doesn't naturally gravitate towards it, you don't
Exactly.
want to,
I'm not trying to shove it down his throat, but I try to, let him try something and see if you like it. No, not really. I wish, because he likes to sing.
Does he listens to music and stuff?
Oh yeah, he loves music. He loves K-pop. Like BTS and like Korean pop bands.
Interesting.
Which I've never listened to, but I know it's becoming like a big thing.
Yeah.
It's been a big thing. Like, have you ever played like Dance Dance Revolution? Like that was all like K-pop songs back in the day.
Yeah. But he's actually like, I'll give him credit. He can sing in tune. He could sing on key and he could hold a note. I'm teaching him about like, like how to sing in falsetto and like all the different like levels of your voice. I'm like, look, if you do this, you could hit all these different notes. You don't have to sing it
In different ways.
Yeah, you could do what I learned at like 24.
I know, right?
Maybe just to clarify, maybe you shouldn't be the person to teach him that.
Well, just the little that I know. Yeah, thanks, Dick.
I prefaced this. I said before, I'm not a singer either.
No, but you actually took lessons, like about singing. You don't have to be the fucking Celine Dion to know about how your voice works.
I didn't take lessons. I just did research.
You told me you went to voice lessons. Was that all bullshit?
No, I went to like.
Were you bullshitting me?
University
I
of
went to
YouTube?
like 2 or. No, I went to like 2 or 3.
I bought the DVD of the Zen of streaming.
So I took like a couple voice lessons when I was much younger, like even before I met you. A couple voice lessons with like a local voice teacher. I was like, all right, I'm going to try and learn to sing. And I took like 2 or 3, and he was like an opera teacher. Like he like had a degree, master's degree in vocal, and was like really into opera. And like, that's the sort of thing where if you learn that, like, yeah, you can transition that to pop music, but it's,
It's not a direct translation.
Yeah,
like, it's
not a
still
direct. Yeah, you don't learn like you learn all the technique, but none of the style.
Yeah.
Like you have to learn to emote.
I don't
and
know
have
how
some
easily
style.
it translates. Remember, we had that one girl come in one time. She was like a really good musical theater
Donna.
singer.
Yes,
Donna.
that's
Not
right.
Donna. Not Donna.
No,
there was
no.
another girl. I don't know if you were there for that. But
She tried out one time. I don't think you were actually at the rehearsal.
yeah, and
she
she
tried
was
out
just,
one time.
You could just tell like she was used to singing musical theater her whole life.
I
'Cause
think
we
I
listened-
remember this. We tried out when we were still practicing in Ryan's basement.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, I remember this. I was there.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, but she like sung. She was like a opera soprano, and then came in and couldn't sing Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was weird because you knew she was a good singer, and you almost I felt bad. Like
Like sorry, it's not gonna work.
yeah.
And then Donna came in and fucking killed it.
Oh, she was great, man.
Have you seen her like current?
She's got some really good songs now.
Oh
She-
my god,
She's doing like very well
She's
for herself.
incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like she's like legit touring in Europe right now.
Oh wow.
Yeah, like she's doing well.
I remember when I first like really tried to sing was like way after I like wasn't in bands anymore. When I was just playing that acoustic like at home, trying to like impress girls and stuff like that.
Bringing
you
it
sang
out
a
to
little bit in the
parties,
cover band, right?
being a douche.
Never.
I thought you did.
No,
Not
he did.
once.
Never did. Nope.
And maybe to myself, like I never had a mic.
I had this one memory of you on stage and you're playing like bass, like not even plugged in, and you're singing something along. And I was like, Steve, that sounds weird. You're like, what are you talking about? I was just like, you're playing a bass and singing along to it. You're like, oh, I thought you were talking about my singing.
There was one time we were like, we had just done like sound check and we were hanging out in front of like the stage waiting for the show to start, and they had the the music playing. It was when Kings of Leon were still big, and that song "Sex on Fire" it was on, and I was just fucking around and singing it, and I was just like really belting it out. And Kelly's like, "Wow, you actually hit that! Like, why don't you do backups?" And I was like, "Oh God, I got so nervous right there. Like, don't make me do it, please."
Do I have to
do it.
You know, like I was talking about that shaky leg feeling.
Yeah.
I got it right there.
Yeah.
I was like, oh shit, they're gonna ask me to do this now. I was so afraid. And then later on, like when I was really trying to like focus on playing guitar and I was trying to get better at that and learning how to sing while playing. Remember that girl Adele that was friends with Michelle, the girl from
Yes.
Australia? We were hanging out at her house, which incidentally was like the next block over from where my apartment was, my second apartment.
Uh huh.
And like she played trumpet and she was a really good singer. So we were hanging out just fucking around singing songs, and she was trying to teach me how to really sing. So she was forcing me to like belt out notes. Like it got to the point where I would go to her house and she would just like try to train me. And it actually did help my singing a lot, but then I was like I never did anything else with it.
Yeah.
Just kind of gave up.
That was the end of my singing career.
Yeah. You know, those few weeks when I was singing on the corner, and you know, it kind of broke me after that.
Didn't you tell me you had like an acoustic demo or something like that?
Yeah, I was trying to record stuff on my own, and I took
When
the
was that,
the
though?
photos to make the MySpace.
I was recording it for you.
You weren't.
Yeah, you came over with that guitar, and I was recording guitar parts for you in my bedroom at my
recorded
dad's house.
You did that? Okay, yeah, you did that one. I thought you were saying you were playing it for me. I was like, the fuck you were?
No.
Yeah.
Like
Trying to steal all my thunder?
No. I mean, like I plugged your guitar in and pressed the fucking space
Yes.
bar to record that
I
shit.
did some with you. I even did some with Karsten too.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Wow.
Where are these demos?
I have them like buried in
the
my
vault.
You buried them.
None of them.
They're buried in the backyard.
Actually, you'll get a kick out of this. I have, because of him, I have
saw your shadow.
like,
I was like, what the fuck?
old In Arms Like These demos of like songs that we never finished or anything like that.
Some of those wound up in Tim's movie.
Oh god,
Yeah, they did.
That pissed,
Yeah.
me,
I got
that
some of them,
pissed
too.
me off. I'll get to that in a second, but I have like songs that we never finished or anything because it was like, you know, recorded at a live practice or whatever, but he kept it all on his iTunes, and he like I was going through his iTunes like taking random music one day. I was like, "What is all this shit?" And he's like, "Oh, that's unfinished songs, like demo stuff that we never finished." I was like, "These are all good ideas. I'm taking all this."
They'll have like made up names and stuff, like
Yeah.
Hollywood song and
Yeah.
like,
Yep, yep.
Fido song.
Yeah, Blast Beat Betty. I have these songs.
remember
I
that.
used to record them with my little Mac.
Yeah, that's probably what the actual
I have an
recording
unreleased DVD of us.
Really?
I was in the works of making us this crazy DVD.
I
Oh, that's
really-
gotta come out on
I
YouTube.
really
Yeah, I gotta
want to
see
see
Coming
that.
soon.
It's not.
Yeah.
Yeah, share the private link. It's okay.
Oh my god. It's gonna be
I'm
glorious.
telling you, we were gonna do this. I was ready.
Man, I feel so weird too. I went to see my grandmother yesterday, and we were in the car driving back from the restaurant, and I had music on my phone playing music, and she was like, "Wow, this is a lot different than the music you used to listen to, huh?" And I'm like, "Wow, it really is." Like I used to be all like metal and just like rock stuff, and now it's so like laid back, like chill, like weird,
Same
like
with me.
alternative, like
Yep, same.
almost electronica kind of like
Yeah, not
electro
me.
soul stuff.
Mine is like all soul and like R&B stuff like that. Like
I feel like I've like my whole. It's not even that I don't like that stuff anymore. I just feel like I don't have that same like
Doesn't
energy
fire
in me.
you up.
No, but you also
Yeah.
you have to be in a mood because I'll go and listen to some metal every now and then. But
That's
you
true.
have to be
Sometimes
in a
like
mood
Parkway
for it.
Drive will
Yeah.
come on when I'm in the car. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh wow, this was
Yeah.
really good.
Yeah.
Or like
You
if
know?
I'm on my way to the gym or something, I'm like,
Oh,
you know
yeah.
what? Let me throw on something heavy.
It's
Well,
my
I have
gym
s-
music.
Yeah, I have certain
Yeah.
songs for the gym.
I have a gym mix that's all hip hop and metal.
When I hear Wild Eyes by Parkway Drive, like that song, just listen to the words too. I'm like, God damn, motherfucker, this is awesome.
Yeah, that's another thing. You always connected with lyrics
Oh,
of songs where I like it was all melodies. And
That's such a
stuff
perfect
like that.
song too.
Yeah.
If you listen to the lyrics, like that perfectly describes millennials, like how we feel, like our generation. And I'm not saying that in like a sarcastic way. Like it's so good. Like I'm not gonna sit here and recite the lyrics, but
Don't.
that's why I
Can
think
you
that's
do it in
why
a
it
slam
fires
poetry
me up.
kind of way?
Almost, yeah.
You have to snap your fingers every once in a while.
Wild eyes, never lied, realize. Anyway,
Yes.
we're not doing that. So let's start winding down here. Like, what do you take away from your experiences, like playing, being in a band, just being a performer, going traveling, and like just seeing different shit that a lot of people don't get to see?
That I should have been way cooler than I actually am. That's about it.
That's about it.
Yeah,
You should have been.
I should have been.
You should have been
I
cooler.
should have been cooler.
I should have been cooler. That's probably why I didn't make it. Such a fucking tool. Sitting there
But that's
talking
what you
about
take
comics.
from it, though, like
No.
from your experience.
No,
like,
no. Just fucking around.
Like, what would you say? Like, how has it shaped your life? Like, does it give you some kind of perspective, maybe that other people don't have? Like, what about it helped mold you
Oh my
into
God,
who
you're
you
getting
are?
into deep shit. This is supposed to be a fun one.
It is fun. This is
This
fun.
is a good way to wind down. Honestly, like I would not be where I am in life had I not gone through everything that I went through with music. I wouldn't be married. You know, if we didn't start this cover
That's
band,
true.
I wouldn't have met my wife. Like
Uh-huh.
everything that happened with music, I have zero regrets. I think it all worked out as it should. It gave me confidence in life, confidence to know that I can take literally I can turn something from nothing, like you can that's an amazing feeling to know that you can just start at the bottom and work your way up and not be intimidated by the process,
Yeah.
because you've experienced that time and time again playing in bands, starting from scratch and building something and seeing how amazing it is when it grows. And I feel like I've taken that in all different aspects of my life, the representing myself and
Well, no, I 100% I agree with that, because it's like you said, it's that feeling of knowing like I can literally start something from nothing, and all you have to do is just do the work, and you could do this stuff. Like, think how many people listen to music. Oh, it'd be so cool if I could be in a band, I could be a performer one day, and they never take that first step to maybe learn the instrument. And then, like, even if they know how to play, like, say, hey, maybe you and me and so-and-so should get together and try to do a show at, like, the local bar. We'll do, like, an acoustic set or something.
you can say it's naive, but I always felt like I could accomplish anything.
Yeah.
Having gone through the things that I went through in music, it gave me
Definitely.
this outlook that like nothing's impossible.
Exactly.
So
it was
like,
something I wanted to do, and I did it.
exactly, and
Yeah, even if you don't make it all the way to fucking, Capitol Records or something like that, like, you got to get up on stage with a guitar and play songs and have people fucking clap for you and genuinely enjoy it.
yeah,
That's a good feeling.
It teaches you a lot, and in many ways, I mean, you started a business from scratch.
No, we
many-
started a legit business, and we had an LLC and everything. Like,
Yeah.
that was an actual business.
Yeah.
Well, the cover band, but I'm talking about like your current life now.
Oh,
like,
yeah, even more so,
It's
yeah.
like it's almost no different than being in a band. You just now this is how
Gotta
you
build
make your
from
living.
scratch. But I mean, what I take away from it is a little different. Like, it, not to like start on a bad note, but like I kind of gave up on my dreams. Like, that was my dream when I was younger, and like now I do something different and this and that. But I always have that release if I need to, like if I'm stressed out or whatever, and like I can just I have the programs on my computer. I can just like sit down with a guitar and like a drum machine and everything and just write shit. And it always just gives me kind of some sort of release, even if I know it's not going to go anywhere. Like, it's just something that I'm going to have on my computer, but I can come up with a song and be like, take 3-4 hours like putting this thing together, and then come back to it like a week later and be like, oh, I have this idea to add to it, and
It's
this and
kind of
that.
like another form of a diary.
Yeah, it's like honestly for me, it's a little bit of a therapy session.
Well, that's what we were saying. It's cathartic. You get that out.
Yeah.
You're expressing yourself.
Yeah.
And all the music I've ever written, it would definitely be along the lines of a diary, bro. Like, because it's always been words that I feel
Yeah,
about.
well,
something.
you being a singer and a lyricist, it's a little different for
Just
you,
for the
like
lyrics,
to
yeah.
actually
yeah.
be able to put your
You can
feelings
literally
down.
like verbalize, you know, what you're feeling. You
Yeah.
know?
Definitely.
It's not
Yeah.
like through notes. You know.
Yeah, for me, it's a little different. Like I'm not verbalizing, you know, my feelings and everything, but it's just something to take my mind off of current
You're
life.
scratching that creative itch, you know?
Like no, not even that. Like just like, oh, I got this going on. I'm stressed out about this. You know, let me just fucking sit down with a guitar and like write something. I got this little fucking melody in my head. Let me figure that out and go from there. And it's just something to kind of relax. You know, hit like the reset button on my day and just kind of.
But that's kind of like
stress.
That kind of is what we're saying. It's that you're getting that out of you. You're finding, like you said, a release. You're like Dumbledore taking the thoughts out of his head to put in the pensieve. You know,
but it's still different because
for any of my Harry Potter fans out there,
we talked about this on the last one that I'm not.
No, we didn't.
Yes, we did.
No.
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't know what you were gonna say.
Yeah.
I just was being a dick.
I know. We've met. So we talked about this on the last one that I'm not big on like talking out my feelings and stuff like
That's
that.
true.
Like so like for me, like yeah, I'm not going to sit there and talk out my feelings and everything, but it's something to relieve the stress. Like if I'm having a bad day or anything like that, like you know, just lay some music down, create a drum track to it, stuff like that. Like just something to do. Like I'm not sitting there writing lyrics like you would be to really like, you know, this is what I'm feeling, like let me get it down on paper and that's my release. Like I'm not expressing my feelings, but it's just something to kind of relieve stress.
Just get it out of you.
Yeah.
What about you, Tom?
Where do I begin? You know, like.
We've got time.
I'm eternally grateful for the time that I spent in music. It took me from being an orphan, like foster kid and never being able to leave New Jersey to being able to visit places that I probably wouldn't even care to visit, like Nebraska or something like that. But the whole rest of the country,
No offense
too,
to Nebraska, but you know,
I
what are you
saw
guys
the
really doing
Midwest.
over there?
I don't know
people-
why.
Some people I've met along the way never leave hometowns.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
know.
really
I've talked about this at length.
Yeah.
You get out there and see the world.
Yeah.
Figure out who the hell you are.
Gain
Definitely.
some perspective
you
in
learn
life.
about yourself. Like it's an incredible thing.
I think there's always going to be a little part of me that it felt more at home at that time in my life where I'm traveling and getting to communicate with people and share my story and help people get through what they were, you know, going through, just like how when I was younger, music helped me.
Well, you really do have like a pretty
you got a
amazing
true
story.
fucking
you know?
story.
And there's just something I feel like Brian was saying, I feel that I could really do anything because I took this band and I got signed and I'm playing the House of Blues at Disney and stuff like that. And, you know, I feel like, you know, now in my new adventures, I have the passion, I have what I can do to, you know, do that. Being a general contractor now, I constantly have a team of people. It's kind of like being in a band. I'm the general contractor. I'm the, you know, kind of like the foreman, and I'm that front man again. And I got my plumber, I got my electrician, my siding guys, you know, stuff like that. It's definitely helped me being able to communicate a plan.
The plumber is definitely the bassist. Sorry.
That's so good. Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut
no,
you
it's
off.
so
You
Does
were-
that mean as an electrician I'm like more important now?
Yes.
The electric guitar player, bro. Come
Yeah.
on.
I'm
yeah.
sorry. You were like
No.
in the zone, but like
was.
I couldn't
There's
pass
just-
that up.
Sorry, Drew, for ruining possibly the evening.
Nah, I'm not trying to get too deep, but it's just.
Nah, man, get deep.
I think there's just always going to be a part of me that longs to perform and travel and all that other stuff. But, you know, sometimes you just gotta go.
Sometimes things
where
run their
life
course.
takes you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I like that. Run their course too.
Yeah.
You know?
It's not just because it ended doesn't mean it wasn't a great thing,
Yeah.
Like, just because it's over now, it doesn't mean that it was bad and you have to be sad and bitter. Like, you could look back with, real fondness. Like, that was an amazing time in my life, and I took all this positive experience from that.
Definitely.
Even in the times that sucked, like living in a fucking van with, 4 other dudes sweating and farting,
You were doing something though.
Yeah,
you know?
it was an experience, and like those things really mold you, and they give you perspective on all these other things in life, and they help you look at things with a wider view. You know what I mean? You could see things in an experience that maybe the average person couldn't, and you could take away something from everything. You could look at a shitty situation, and you could look back on these experiences you had in a band. Like, you know what? This could actually be a blessing.
Yeah.
You know, like I went through these hard times and still was able to come out of them, with a smile on my face.
Yeah.
Like I had 2 outfits to wear for a tour, and
sleeping in Walmart parking lots and all that stuff.
Yeah.
It definitely is humbling to like just give it
Absolutely.
your all and just go out there and for years just live in a fucking van and
Yeah,
shit.
see, I never had to do that. But I am honestly a little bitter about it.
Oh yeah.
Only because I don't have anything to be proud of from that time in my life. Like, because of how everything worked out, I don't have any recordings or anything like that. Like, when we were in the metal band, like, there are no recordings of
It's like
any
there's-
of the stuff that we came up with.
it's like there's no
And-
legacy of the things that you did.
Yeah, like in 20 years, I have nothing to look back on and be like, you know what? Like, maybe stylistically it's not your thing, but like, I did this 20 years ago, Like, I have nothing to be proud of to look back on. And that's the only thing that ever bothered me. And honestly, it's the only thing that keeps me, probably the only thing that keeps me doing music now is just like, every once in a while, I want that, like, need to be filled of like, I want to be able to say that I did something and have something to show for it.
But you did though, just because you don't have physical things, like you don't have like that album, or you don't have
it doesn't
like,
mean
certain
all that
recordings.
stuff didn't exist.
It doesn't negate all the things that you went through, that moment when like Tony comes and everything's coming together, and you guys are trying to hide your smiles because you're that happy. Like, that's a special thing, dude.
Like,
you always have that,
definitely- Like, I always have that. I remember that and everything, but like, I feel like if I'm talking to somebody about like, oh, how I used to be a musician, everybody can say like, oh yeah, I used to play the guitar when I was younger, and like,
Yeah, but you really did it.
yeah, I did.
And what matters is that
I did.
you did, and
Yeah, I
you
know I
have
did.
those memories.
But it's still like nice to have something to show to be proud of.
You know what though? I get it. I understand exactly what you mean. But my thing is, like you said, like, yeah, this may not be your taste. Think of how it's like somebody showing you their fucking wedding photos. Like, listen, I don't really care. I
don't care.
Like, show me one, and then I'm done. Like, that's all you're gonna get out of me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so having those physical recordings, like, only goes so far. Like,
Yeah,
I get
I
it.
know.
It gives you peace of mind.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, like,
But it's not even
what difference
just,
does it really
it's
make?
not even just showing off to somebody. It's also like, yeah, like you said, like I have the stories of like when Tony came in that first time, and like I remember that. But also, I would like to have something to be like, listen to it and be like, man, like I fucking did this. Like, I can't believe that. That's really cool.
I kind of look at it as a little bit off topic, but I kind of look at it in the same way I look at like social media. Like, I don't share as many like personal pictures and
I don't
stuff.
share anything.
I mean, I used to a lot, but now it's kind of like, who is it for?
Yeah.
That's the way I look at it. Like, is it for me or is it for everybody else? Because if it's for me, I know what the fuck happened. I was there.
Yeah.
So I don't need to post this for myself. I'm doing it essentially to show off. Like, I'm trying to show people, oh, look at how my life is.
Yeah.
So I kind of like, I'm not trying to.
Oh, and social media is so fake. Like the
But no,
people
but my
posting
point
the
is-
most.
I'm not trying to do it and say this to disagree with you. Like, I'm just saying, like, what really matters is your experience. Like that. That's the way I look at it. Like, I know I was there. I have the memories. I was physically there. I remember playing on stage in Boston in front of like, all these people in like a fucking packed club. Like, that is a great feeling, and no recording is going to recreate that. It's like, I don't need that MP3 file to remind me that I was there and I lived it. You know what I mean?
It's a little different for me because I was the songwriter.
Listen, Drew, it's not different for you. Just agree with what I'm saying, okay?
Drew's like, I see what you all are saying, but I have
fuck
to
off.
disagree with you.
No.
I am bitter.
No,
The
and,
end.
and this is why, because like none of them are completed, but like I said, like I have demos of like random stuff
Yeah.
that we did.
No,
and, like,
you're
I can
gonna
go
say
back
that
and be like,
because you had all
wrote
this stuff that you started that it was like kind of incomplete.
Yeah.
It's always like that loose end,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, I have a like
No, I get that.
like a whole fucking list of loose ends in my iTunes thing that just shit was never completed. And like from 10 years ago all the way up to a year ago, like of just things that I wrote that I was like, this is going to be really cool. And then nothing ever happened with it. It never got completed. And so I have all these loose ends.
It's unfinished business.
Yeah. So like I can go back to him and like be like, oh yeah, I wrote that, but like I don't want to show it to anybody because it's like it's not finished. There's no vocals on it or
Hey,
anything.
maybe you got to tie up some loose ends, man.
So I'm like, I don't want to do it. It's
and you can't say you're bitter.
it's no, I do want to do it. It's honestly hard to find.
I do want to do it, and
a lot
I
of
am bitter,
time.
so fuck
Singers
off.
are hard to find.
No,
you
also
fuckers
disagree with you about
You
that.
fuckers are really hard to come by.
Nah. Well, honestly, like I think that's just something that comes with age, especially
Yeah.
maybe
Eventually
one day.
I'm not going to care.
Eventually, maybe if you have kids, like you could show that to your kid, and like just even if it's unfinished, just saying like, yeah, this is like what I used to do. This meant something to me,
Yeah.
and just having the feeling of kind of not passing it down, but
Yeah.
just sharing that experience with someone you love.
Yeah.
But anyway, like I think we should end it there.
Fair
You
enough.
know,
Oh, I was hoping you were going to say put a pin in it.
I almost did. I don't know. I feel weird constantly saying that. But guys, thank you so much for coming.
Yeah. This
This-
is always a good time.
I know. I
group.
love talking about this stuff with you guys.
Yeah.
Like,
It's good to meet up with you guys and talk about this stuff. 'cause
Yeah.
we don't really get opportunities to otherwise.
No.
so,
that's true.
you know.
So, do you guys have anything you want to plug? I know you have seconds to say.
Yeah, I'm doing a band now. Drew's loosely a part of it. We're actually going to be recording next weekend,
Yes.
Drew and I. But we have a cover of the Post Malone song "Circles" coming out the 14th. When does this come out?
This Thursday.
This Thursday, so it'll be out this Saturday, and we shot a video for that too, so that'll come out. And
Wow.
that's
Did
it.
you? Oh,
We did.
don't look at me. I'm not
What
involved.
the hell?
I'm not involved.
Yeah.
I'm not involved.
So
in
much
that.
for
I thought we just
retired.
said semi-retired.
Yeah.
Like, what
Let
the hell?
me just say, you are, and you don't even know it. I'll just
Am
throw
I?
it out
What-
there.
What?
This is a random shot of them busting in the bathroom with Drew's on the toilet.
I'm just gonna throw it out there. You're a part of the video. You don't even know about it. You'll find out on Saturday.
Fair enough.
All right, Saturday.
He's
Watch
watching.
it.
Yeah.
It's on the
All right.
YouTube.
What
All
about
right.
you,
Okay.
Tone? Anything?
Just living, brother.
Buy some of these houses that Tony works on.
Yeah, just
Amen.
living, dude.
Yeah.
We'll see where life takes me. I mean, I can't imagine never doing music again, but for
One
right
of these
now,
day- one of these days, I'm going to take one of those guitars off the wall and do something with it.
yeah,
Yeah.
One of these days.
one of these
Yeah.
days.
All right. But again, guys, thanks for doing this.
Yep.
I genuinely enjoy this. So hopefully everybody else likes listening to our little inside baseball, you know.
Yeah.
As always, guys, thanks for listening. If you want to watch this, you probably already are. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. You could get this. You can stream it or download it wherever you get your podcasts. And make sure you follow us on Instagram at APodAmongstMen. Or you could DM us or you could email us at APodAmongstMen@gmail.com with any questions or suggestions. We'll be happy to get back to you. And man, share it. Make sure you tell your friends. Like, let's get the
word out there.
Tell a friend.
Fucking A.
Listen with a buddy.
Yeah. Listen with a buddy or a cellmate, anything. So until next week, we'll see you guys. Thanks for listening. Peace.
Later.